You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
Sausages from a robot.
The wasteland is a host of apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, gross atomic waste. From deep within the core, gross atomic waste.
Hello and welcome to the 558th edition of the Fallout feed. I am Andrew, joined by a flock of my favorite Fallout folks. Tonight I've got Ray. What's up, Ray?
Yeah, hello.
And I've also got Jess. What is up, Jess?
Kapow! Greets, everybody.
Kapow, and welcome. Tonight on the show, coming back from a 2-week break here, so we have lots of catching up to do. We are going to get through our ending of the Casino Royale. What's it called? Some Sierra Madre, right? No. That's a mountain range. It is. That is what it's called. Okay. So Sierra Madre, we're finishing that up. But we're also doing all the feedback for the people who have been doing our feedback play-alongs all season long. Much appreciated to all you folks out there. So we're probably going to intermix the two, intermingle, bounce our experiences off of their feedback and back and forth, etc., as we get through and talk about our gameplay and whatnot. But we will do our other gameplay we've been doing on the top of the show. Like always, got some game time coming up. I got 2 games that I've resurrected for Father's Day this weekend. Happy Father's Day to all you rad dads out there in Fallout
Absolutely.
Land. The feedback I mentioned this week, we've got Solior, we've got Calm and Nikki, Calm Horizons that is, Vanessa, Rando Wasteland, and Shovelbutt, of course. So we will get into all that feedback and a healthy dose of the Iguana bit. So why don't we go ahead and roll right into it, see what everybody's been up to. Been a couple weeks off, so I'm sure there's lots to cover. So why don't we head on over to Ray. Say, hey, Ray, did you have a chance to play video games the last couple weeks, sir?
I did indeed. I played quite a bit of video games over the little breaky poo.
Beautiful.
So off the top, No Man's Sky. So the expedition is still rolling. And right now it's just about 50% complete on the community event. And I'm happy to report that the Weavers are in first place for the saving of the galaxy.
Are they your neighbors?
I believe
Weavers?
Jen said, "Go
Across the
Royals
street.
down with Weavers." Last I heard.
Yeah, that's So Baker and I were both Weavers, and Jen's a Royal. So yeah, it's a fight among
Contentious.
friends. So that's been fun. That's that it's kind of akin to the dailies in 76, where you go in, you complete some missions. So you can do 3 of them, but I only do 2. So I do the one that gives the Weavers plus 3 points, and the one that gives the Royals and the Sages minus 2 points. So
Wow. Yeah. Community challenges, they're all the rage for these kind of games. We just had ours in 76, like we talked about. I'm glad you got one over there. It's funny, though. Your teams remind me, because there are 3 of them, right? It reminds me of the teams in Pokemon Go with, Team Mystic, the cool one, and then those other teams. But funnily enough, almost all my friends were Mystic, except for 1 or 2.
Yeah, so that's been fun, interesting to see. So while I was on the road, I loaded Fallout 4, the latest next gen update, on my laptop.
Did it break stuff?
Okay, right, because you can play it there separately on the laptop. Okay.
Yeah. And so my laptop's got a 5070 card in it. So it was like, okay, cracked its knuckles. I've got this game. And was running at about 150 frames per second.
That seems high.
And looking really good. But so, I go through the the opening sequences and everything's fine. And then I get to exiting the cryo chamber in the vault.
Uh-oh.
And
Yep.
so, you run around like you do until you get to the little stack of containers with the police baton sitting on top of it. And you pick up the police baton so you can start cracking rad roaches over the head.
Tasty.
Well, why in the hell can't I pick this thing up? It's right
What's
here.
happening?
You
What's
have
happening
no
when you try to click it?
hands.
When I click on it, it's like I've
Oh, you do have hands. Okay.
elevated it. So I can pick it up, I can move it around, can drop it on the floor, I can pick it up again, drop it on top of the container, but I can't get it in my inventory.
If you lift it high enough and drop it on rad roaches, you might be able to kill them.
Could be. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but I'll just punch them. So off I went,
Stomp,
punching
stomp,
rad
stomp.
roaches. And I could get stuff out of containers, but I was having a hell of a time picking anything up.
Right. It was flying everywhere, stuff like that.
So I get out of the vault and okay, maybe this is just some weird glitchy thing in the vault. And so now I'm running around. Containers, I can pick stuff up all day long. Other stuff, can't get it picked up. Finally start, noticing that I'm moving really, really fast. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, this is faster than my New Vegas character, who has all the fast perks. And so finally I'm like, okay, something's going on. So I exit the game and I start looking on the internet. Oh, look, evidently in this latest update, Bethesda's thought, it'd be really good if we tie the physics engine to
they've
the
always
frames
been
per second.
Yeah, they've always been tied. Like that's one of the biggest problems with Creation Engine is it was a problem in Skyrim, but then they fixed it so it locked, right? So like there are things you could update it to lock and then it would lock on some devices. They must have done something to like unlock it somehow with the update.
Yeah.
Because that's always been a weird issue. That's why like when you walk into a room at a high frame rate, suddenly everything falls off the table, on old installs. But I can't believe it. 150 FPS. I couldn't believe that was getting wonky.
So I cranked it down to 60 and lo and behold, everything worked great. So I had to lock it in on my video card settings instead of game settings. So that was that mystery was solved. And so I played a bunch more Fallout 4. Before I left, I was, I had finished up the New Vegas quest. And so then when I got back, I downloaded the Long 15 because I've been dying to play that mod. And I think Solior was waiting until he finished up too. Because, you don't want to drop a big meg mod like that in the middle of something important like a roundtable.
Yep, exactly.
So then I started exploring the Long 15. I was going through the tunnel to Death Valley, and somehow or another, somewhere along the way, I was going back and forth. So in where I had plenty of range, I was using my Christine's sniper rifle. And when I was in tight locations, I was using the Little Devil, which I had silenced. And so I'm going through and, there's a lot of these long corridors. So I've got the rifle and I'm going along and but I get to a spot where I want to use the pistol, and I go to equip it, and it's gone.
Wacky.
I'm like, huh, that is weird. So then I start backtracking and looking around. Well, there's no way in the world you're going to find it. There's so much debris on the ground, and it's, a tiny little, pistol with a silencer on it. And so my little devil's gone.
I'm sorry. Little devil scampered off somewhere.
Yeah.
Hey, that makes me wonder. When you were playing through Dead Money, did you give Christine her sniper rifle?
Heck no. I didn't have it with me.
Oh, of course not, because it was taken away. Duh.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
dumb
still wouldn't
question.
have given it to her.
No,
It's way
sense.
too good.
I gave her a bare fist mostly. She's mostly bare fisting, but when I gave her a cosmic knife and a bare fist, she chose the knife over the fist. I was surprised.
Huh.
Anyway, sorry.
I didn't give her any weapons.
Yeah, no, you can give him all weapons. Like Dean, he got a rifle. I didn't give him. I know he wanted a shotgun because he's got all that stuff everywhere. Nope, I gave him, the automatic rifle, and I gave Christine.
If they want a weapon, they can
stuff.
pick one up themselves.
Just leave them to it. Yeah.
I'm not looting for them.
I like equipping my companions. I mean, I gave them all the Sierra Madre helmets too. So they're all walking around looking like Cobra Commander with those helmets on,
Morons! I have morons on my payroll!
Yeah. I mean, I did give I gave Boone the the NCR armor that we picked up in Lonesome Road.
Sweet.
So he's got that the elite trooper stuff and the helmet with the red eyes.
Right. Like we all outfit our main companions, but I guess I can understand DLC companions not necessarily, doing them as much. But I'm like, well, I've got them. I might as well just make them a little more effective.
They weren't going to be with me long enough, and they certainly weren't going to help me. So, then I also so just a couple of days after I got home, Genesis updated to 8.8. For the new version of Starfield, plus a bunch of stuff they had been working on,
Cool
expanding.
beans. What did they like? More quest stuff or more?
Yeah, they've done a lot of tweaks to the main Constellation quest line. So now none of them look like the Constellation characters.
Oh, really? So they've changed them up a lot now too. Okay.
Yeah. So one thing I will say is, I'm going through making my character, and I thought, it'd be cool. I haven't done Wanted in a long time. I should do Wanted. So that I can get some ships and some good weapons and armor from the bounty hunters that come after me.
Right. Oh, right, for the perk.
Yeah, the wanted trait.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it.
In Genesis, don't do it.
Do it in Genesis.
I mean, it's bad enough anyway. Like, Wanted, people come after you a little bit too often, from what I understand in Starfield. But Genesis, oh my goodness, what happened?
So I'm level 1, and I'm flying around in the little revamped frontier that they give you, called the Escalon or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the bounty hunters, pop in, and there's 2 of them, and they're flying level 62 claymores, which are an absolute beast of an ecliptic ship. And I mean, I couldn't even get the first ship's shields down to half before they killed me.
You didn't even bring a knife to a gunfight. You brought like a super soaker.
They just absolutely smoked me. So I'm like, okay, so run. That was my my tactic from that point on, because you do have a brief window before they actually engage you, and so you can land on the planet.
Okay. Yep.
and then fast travel somewhere else from there because you're no longer in combat.
You need to either do that or make a macro to quickly grab jump. You know, all the things you need to hit to grab jump out of there.
Yeah. So, yeah, and fortunately, I haven't run into any of the bounty hunters on the ground, because I can see when the claymores land. They're a very distinctive ship, and so I can get the hell out of there really quick before they come get me. But everything else has been really fun.
So that's cool. So you got Fallout 4 Next Gen. You got playing the Long 15. You got No Man's Sky. We leave you to your own devices. Like we take 1 week off, and you're on a trip, and you still get this much gaming in. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So have you seen much difference, and have you made it very far in the main quest, or are you ignoring it like usual?
In Fallout 4?
I meant in Genesis. I'm sorry. Where
In
you
Genesis? No, I'm actually doing the main quest so I can see what the differences are. I mean, the biggest one you notice right away is that they're all aliens. So, although I picked up Andrasia, and now her name is like Sheena or something like that, and she's a human. But I think Sarah's a Twi'lek, and I can't. So, yeah, I mean, they're all completely different.
Awesome. That's really cool.
You know, when you first get there, all they want to do is kill you. They're like, no, let's just, give the guy his money for the artifact and let him go.
Sheena, what a name. That reminds me of what was it, like an 80s film called Sheena? She was like a female Beastmaster or something.
Yeah.
Crazy.
What was He-Man's girlfriend's name? Oh, She-Ra. Never mind.
Tila. Yeah, She-Ra was his sister.
Oh, sister.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's a little different.
So I do want to shout out. So Cade and Al from the Newport News T-Mobile store. Cade hooked me up with a modem to be able to do the show last week. Didn't end up needing it, but he got me all set up with a nice 5G modem, and it did make the rest of my internet activity much smoother. So that was cool. But they were Kate is not as big a gamer as Al. Al was very excited about the show, and so hopefully he's listening to the show now. And
shout out to Cade and Al.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Better internet when traveling is good, and now you have it to bring with you elsewhere.
Yeah, I returned it.
Oh, that works too. Clever.
So, but anyway, that's that's all I've been able to get up to.
That's it. Gee whiz. How about you, Jess? You have a chance playing video games?
Well, that's a lot more than me as when it comes to the gaming, Ray. For sure, for sure. It's my month has continued into a second month. I'm just crazy busy at work. I celebrated because I got off before 10 p.m. one night this week at like 9:57 p.m. And I was like, yes, I'm out of work early. But then it was still crazy. And yeah, so not a lot of time for gaming, but got some games in. One of the reasons why we had to skip the show last week is because Jess is behind on finishing stuff and just a little bit stressed from work. So I appreciate everybody bearing with me. Glad we're still getting the feedback in. We can talk about the quests and the feedback and all that. I did wrap my roguelikes. So I got 100%ed Vampire Crawlers. That one's done. We put it to bed. Done. Over. That's uninstalled again. And I finished with my Clover Pit. That's the Balatro meets Saw game. That one is done. 76, played a little bit of 76, had some fun. So, double XP weekend, last weekend. So I did what I always do. I jumped into the game to grind some XP, and I ended up building for several hours. The old ways don't change,
You
even though
love
I've been on a
doing that.
mostly 76 break, aside from joining Friends for Funds. And I think it was 2 weeks ago that I talked about it already, that, Rando and Solior and a number of us did a bunch of infestations, and grinding those is fun on private. And, the infestation stuff has been fun. That's slowing back down to normal now. The initial wave of infestations, they were having them appear extra, being, super spawns to get people used to it. Now they're going to slow that down. With the regular update, going to be a little bit fewer infestations, but they are also changing them as time goes on. We'll talk about that in the bits a bit, but they've heard the feedback that they're hard to do in public. They're going to make them tougher. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so 76 was fun with the infestations and the XP. What really happened? Okay, so I'm going to grind that, but also we've got the Mr. Fuzzy suit. So we got the Mr. Fuzzy head for free. So all last week, they were doing free items all week. We talked about it. The first one was the clean Mr. Fuzzy head. And I put out an APB last weekend about that. Like, everybody, log on. You got to get this, the Mr. Fuzzy head, the clean Mr. Fuzzy head, which was previously only available by, cheating. It was in the dev room, basically. You had to do a hack on PC to get it. You got the Camden Park. I poked out, dirty ass Mr. Fuzzy, and you liked it. Or you were a hacksaw. And a few people had it on PC, but it wasn't available widely. So we got the head. And then all week, the last week, there was a couple good items, but a lot of it was also just like free giveaways, like your infestation protection kit, like just free stuff that you can burn. But there was a title in there, a few other fun things, and the mask. And then we got the suit. We got the suit last Sunday. So now we have a full clean Mr. Fuzzy outfit. I got in, taking pictures with that. And, but for whatever reason, the siren call of building got me, So I did a couple infestations, but I mostly got into camp and just built for 3-4 hours. When probably shouldn't play in New Vegas, but it was fun to get back. And I think it's been 9 months now since we had the big old menu update and the build update for camps, where they changed the menus and all that. And in a lot of ways, that was a huge improvement. The organization is better, but they also changed the buttons and systems. And I'll be honest, I'm a little set in my ways, like many of us. And I'm like, I don't want to press a different button to do this. I don't want to use that one. I don't want to have to move things with the D-pad. And so I was, that's partly why I didn't do it. Because if building is your zen, but your zen is pressing certain buttons to do things, and you have to learn a new system, there are times when you just don't want to do that. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, Ray. Like, there are times when you just don't want to play a different game because you don't want to learn a whole new system.
Exactly.
So, but I think I finally got over that hump. I mean, because I've built a bit, of course, of last year, but not anywhere near as much as usual. And I just had a really good time getting pictures, decorating, building. So that was good. So wrapped the Rolled Lakes, got some Fallout 76 in, got some Fallout New Vegas. I'm playing a few little indie games, but nothing I really want to need to shout out. Like, just some, honestly, like some fun hidden cat type stuff, but not just that, like that kind of thing. Played a word search, played some CADs, played a couple of, cheesy platformers, just kind of mindless stuff that I can play after midnight when I finally winding down from work and have a couple, an hour or two before bed. When you just don't want to get into a big game or something serious, at that time of night sometimes. But that's pretty much my gameplay. Hey, we've mentioned the Sierra Madre at the beginning of the show, Andrew. You're like,
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? So Sierra Madre, that's the name of the mountain range that it's in, right? That's where the name comes from, the Sierra Madre range?
There is a range
maybe?
there somewhere. I'm sure Ray is very familiar with it, living out there somewhere, right?
Well, the Sierra Nevada is the mountain range
I
that
wonder if
runs
there's
down California.
So what's the Madre? Because that's
Madre means mother.
it's a mountain
right? So
or something, right?
yes. Sierra
the
Madre would
mountain-
mean mountain mother, technically, right?
Is that the
Like
Mesa
mountain
one
mama,
with the
take
flat,
me home?
the flat top? Take me
Wait,
home, country roads.
Sierra Madre is actually a Fallout 76 reference. We never knew.
there's
but no.
there's a city in California called Sierra Madre,
Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, so I just think, mother of mountains or whatever. I just
but
would
I think
it would be
that's
like a large
around
mountain.
L.A.
What's Sierra mean in Spanish?
That's mountain, I believe. But that is it for my gameplay, Andrew.
All right.
Well, actually, we haven't talked ice cream. Before we get to gear gameplay, do you
Oh,
want to
yeah.
quickly
Yeah,
say?
let's hit up that. So
I apparently
yes,
had an effect.
you started a
on-
trend.
Ray, listening to the episode where I've been talking about my excitement and then messing with concoctions. Apparently, Ray is going to be experimenting too.
Yeah. So when we were driving home on Monday, my wife and I listened to the last episode, the one that I wasn't on the way home, and Jess mentioned the Ninja Creamy, and Nancy was like, "Ooh, that sounds good. Why don't we have one of those?"
Because you
That's a
haven't
darn
bought me
good
one
question.
yet,
Why don't you?
Nancy. Come on.
And so, I kind of blew it off a little bit, but then the next day I went to Costco to stock up on stuff. And lo and behold, out on an end cap on a discount, they had a Ninja Creamy Deluxe. And so I'm like, okay, must be a sign. Better get it. So
Even got the deluxe, you guys. That's the one with the big pints. Hobbits would approve.
so yeah. So just getting started down the road on that. So
We can kibitz more once you get a few recipes under your belt and try a few things. I did a few more this week. It's been a good time.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Lemon sorbet.
Yeah, that's the first one.
You said you had a mango.
So
in
the
there, too.
the recipe in the book says to use powdered drink mix.
What?
Yeah.
Are you fucking
And,
kidding me?
So I have a high quality lemonade that then I add lemons to.
Beautiful. Yeah, because you can
because
do it
I
more
like-
like an
that sounds
Italian ice
better.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I like a good sour lemonade.
Yeah.
If I make it with lemons and water, I'll use like a tablespoon of sugar at the most, because I want it to be
Just
lemony.
sour power.
Yeah. You'll find that, there's a lot of experimenting on what does and doesn't work. There are a lot of YouTube videos on it. The book has some decent recipes, but some of them are either more complex or not as complex as I think are good. You definitely don't want it to be mostly just ice. Like that can be hard on the machine. Like it needs to have some sugar or something, but a few of the recipes are more that, just like water and ice, and you have to you do them on the Italian ice setting or whatever. But you'll see what works for you.
Yeah. So then I also did a mango one.
That's going to be good.
That
So-
one's going to be super sweet.
I get-
Mangoes are sweet already,
I was
but
confused
I
by
used
the,
mango nectar,
Ooh, there you go.
which is mango flavored sugar water.
Are you adding protein and fat to them much at all? are you
Not
doing-
so far.
Yeah, you'll find out as you go what works, what doesn't. You can use milk alternatives, but they definitely do better with some sugar or some source of fat or something, making it just an oil or fat in there. Like you don't want to just do pure ice for the most part. But
Yeah.
some of the recipes are, for the sorbets, like mostly just fruit and water. But
Yeah.
like they'll say, don't use fruit with just water. Use fruit with light syrup or fruit with water and sugar, stuff like that.
Yeah. We'll see. It
Well,
might just be a
delicious.
24-ounce popsicle.
It might be, but you just let it melt a little bit and then try it out. Could be delicious. Yeah. So many good things. My pumpkin pie version 2 came out great. And
Ooh.
mixing graham crackers. So my pumpkin pie version 1 was too creamy. It was too thick. I used a little less pumpkin this time, a little more other stuff, and then I did a graham cracker crumble mix in, and that was really good. Bring us back to games, Andrew.
I'm sort of confused by the concept of freezing it beforehand and then like churning it or processing it after.
So that's what's great about the Ninja Creamy in a way, okay? So you don't want to go on this forever for you guys, but
No, this
most,
is now the Ninja Creamy podcast.
most ice cream makers, okay, and like actual ice cream makers, you do a couple ways. Like you obviously the salt and the ice, and you churn it in the cold thing, okay? Or you get a compressor that is cold and you churn it in the cold thing, and you make it as you go. The other option, and the one that like you have, Andrew, is have a bowl that is made to deliberately freeze. You
Right.
keep the bowl
Yeah.
for 20 hours in the freezer, pull it out when it's cold, and make it. But again, you only do it one at a time. So what's great about the Ninja Creamy, especially if you get extra pints, it's perfect for people who like to meal prep, who like to experiment, meal prep, do things in bulk. So because I have 4 creamy pints, soon to be 6, I'm sure, I can pre-make some stuff and put them in the freezer. So you do it once, like on the weekend when you got some time. You do a couple recipes. Like I might do 2 pints of, like this past time, what did I do? I did a pineapple. I did peaches and cream. By the way, peaches and cream and wild berry sorbet are my 2 favorite I've done so far. But I did a peaches and cream, and I did a pineapple and cream, and I did my pumpkin pie version too. And I ate those over the course of like 4 days. And is that like 6 pints in 4 days? Yes. But it was worth it. It was delicious.
Worth
and so,
it.
but it's great
I
because you can make them
dedicated
ahead.
myself to eating it, and I did it.
Right. You pull them out when they're needed. But I tried my first one. You also asked about the Jell-O thing. So I tried. So one of
Right.
the things you
What
have
was
to do
that?
is a thickener. Okay. So you need to use either like guar gum or
Okay,
xanthan gum as a
so
thickener.
Pectin
Or you can
whatever,
use,
right?
say, a plain gelatin or a pudding mix. These are all options as thickeners in them to make it actually creamy, unless you're doing like an Italian ice or that kind of thing, or a pure sorbet. But otherwise, you're going to want them a little creamier. So that works. But I tried Jell-O for the first time. So I did a berry mix. So I did basically 2 cups of berries with a thing of sugar-free raspberry Jell-O, and then 3 cups of coconut milk. Okay, so I got the richness of the coconut in there with the berries, and then the instant gelatin, sugar-free. And that actually, it turned out really flavorful, the way it added flavor at the same time that it thickened. But the gelatin, because that was a larger batch, it was not quite enough to thicken the whole thing with what I did. But yeah, it was good. So just another thing you can do for flavor.
Lots of mix-ins.
So, but I'm an influencer now. If I manage to get Ray and his wife to get one, we've got people in chat there like, oh, I'm trying to talk my wife into getting. There we go, you guys.
Well, that means the company needs to start sending you stuff, right? Get your
They've
free...
got this creamy swirl where you can do like the soft serve creamy. I'm not saying I
soft-serve.
need that, but I would use it if I had it.
Well, yeah. Who wouldn't? So my gameplay is I'm going to buy a Ninja Creamy this week. Kidding.
Awesome.
I bet you my mom would, or my mom would love that, but my wife. Let's get into my gameplay. Earlier, a couple days ago, Tori and I have been doing lots of Star Wars because we've been watching The Mandalorian to prep for that new movie, and then we watched the Book of Boba Fett, and we're just watching different Star Wars stuff. So she was in the mood to play the Lego Star Wars game, so I booted that back up, and I didn't realize it, but she hadn't yet played the new Skywalker reboot edition of it. Like she'd still only played like the original Lego Star Wars game, so she's sort of going through that for the first time, and
That complete one is super fun.
it is crazy how beautiful it. And I was just thinking about this, how wild the concept is of getting these ultra like awesome slick looking games, but they're using something that's literally like children's building blocks, like
Right.
the concept is just really and
It's like ray tracing in Minecraft.
and I was gonna say
or what have you. Like,
Minecraft
it looks
like
beautiful, but it's blocks.
yeah, it's the beauty is in its rudimentary simplicity. It's I don't know, but but we're playing with blocks, doing some Lego. So that's fun to revisit. But what I've been spending most of my time on the last couple weeks is Final Fantasy 1. I saw that all of the Final Fantasy games were
did jump
on
into that after you talked
sale
about it.
last week or 2 weeks ago. And Jess was saying, 3 is the one. It's like, that's the one I remember playing. So I was like, oh, we're going to play it. But then I was like, wait a second. I'm not just going to jump into that one because that's the one I would go ahead and play the first one and see,
The original.
where it comes
the
from.
simplest,
And
but there's a
what I
lot
mean.
to it. Yeah.
And I tell you what, it is every bit as fun as Grognak and the Be Ruin. And I do not say that lightly because that is one of my absolute
We
favorite
know you love it. Watch out,
aspects
Hubris Comics.
of Fallout
Square Enix
4
is coming for you.
is that fucking Grognak game. I love that Grognak game. But it is really like, Grognak is an homage to Final
That kind of
Fan-
game.
Yeah, that thing. And that's what this game and it's great. It's fun. There's like, you get 8 levels of magic, and there are 8 different levels of healing and defense and attack. And
Did you turn on the XP boost too? I'm glad they have those settings where you can boost the XP, so you don't have to grind quite as much.
Oh no, I'm in for the grind, sister. I'm out there slaughtering.
You should at
stuff
least
right
put it
up
on
by the
2
town.
times. It's nice. It feels good.
So I don't know. I got about 30 hours. Well, I got.
Well, that's
A
how I
good- a
beat it in
good-
10 compared to, if you're 30, you're
10
almost
hours,
done.
yeah.
But that's like playing it normal.
Oh no, I just beat the first of the gyms. I got 3 more gyms to go. I got a while. At least I hope. So, I got level 20 or so the first time, and then I didn't like my party for some reason. So I decided to scrap everything. Now that I learned how to play the game a little bit, I didn't watch
better
any
choices?
videos. I didn't read anything about it. I just sort of hopped in and made decisions and rolled with it. But after a few mistakes and levels, and you learn your lessons, and you get a little bit of Ray, and you want to restart over and over and over again. Just try to. So literally, like 12 parties later, I finally settled on a
You're playing it
configuration.
like you play Shelter. Or
Oh
like
my
Replay
god,
6.
it's crazy.
Oh my goodness.
So I finally got a configuration I think that I'll like, and I am now like I've passed the original game by many levels now. I'm probably level 30 or so. And then I opened up because there was at one point I was just like, I am stuck AF. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, you do need to
had
look things up once or
everything,
twice
so-
there. Yeah.
I've looked some stuff and I was like, oh, you have to pull out a specific staff at the stone, and then the stone slides aside.
Yep.
I was like, how would I know to pull that out at this? It was like, oh,
Your
because
classic text
a
adventure thing.
person in a town 3 fucking towns over mentioned that. And I was like,
Yeah, exactly. Use the
Oh,
thing
good
on the
Lord.
thing. Talk to
Yeah.
everybody, and it is a thing. I mean, that's why
Yeah.
Nintendo Power and the hint line exists, right? Talk to a game counselor.
It's the
Figure it out.
best. We need to find one of those game counselors who are on the hotline end and get them on the show sometime. See what their experience working at Nintendo Power is like. That sounds like a riveting job. Yeah, so lots of Final Fantasy. It's really fun. Very standard, turn-based warrior, magician, thief, rogue, cleric, whatever the
Yep.
terms are. And leveling magic, different
you're enjoying it.
monsters.
Yep.
It's great. I'm having
Revisiting it was
way
so much
more
fun.
Way more fun than
And
I
they've
should be having.
got all 6 of them. So even if you don't play all of them, which 2 is not as good, but some of them are still great. So yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah.
was like $6 or something. I was like, fuck it. Why not? Just buy them.
Right. You don't even need them. And they're all on Game Pass, but if you don't want to do Game Pass, you just play them.
Yeah,
just buy
I
'em.
still haven't signed up for it. And last week I was like, well, maybe I'll sign up for Game Pass. And Jess was like, you don't really need to sign up for Game. You can just buy it. We're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it goes either way. Either one works.
And I can spend $6 and buy this game and play it for 2 months. Whereas I would have spent whatever $40
$40,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And now I spent $6 and got 2 months worth of entertainment. Boom! That is efficient gaming, or poor man's gaming. One of the two, depending on how you take it.
Sometimes they're the same thing. It's efficient to stretch that dollar.
Actually, it is. So that's all I've been getting into. Lots of Final Fantasy. I picked up Shelter, and I loaded it up, and I was like really excited to get Shelter, and then I like immediately turned it off. I don't know why. It was just like I got the feeling No, don't play it. So shut that down. I don't know what. It's a bold new thing. It's a new day. Andrew doesn't feel like shelter right now.
You know, you're getting your pixel fix elsewhere.
That's so good. It really makes this. I know. I'm just going over on the simplicity of the great. You know, it's just the beauty and the simplicity is really what I love about it. There's like the shot that. Oh, you could tell that they were proud of it when they did it. You know what I mean? But like, if I showed this to my son, he'd be like, "What is this?" But like, it's birds and the sunset flapping off in the breeze. It's just like, oh, it's so beautiful, but it's like the worst.
Right? They think it's
pixel
those kind of
animation
pixel art scenes were the best, and like
so
the
good.
dramatic airship coming in is the kind of thing that would have programmed in Logo in like '96.
Oh, I got a canoe today, and it was the most exciting thing ever. Love the canoe, paddling around in rivers. All right, let's get on to game time. Let's do it.
Let's
sure.
do a game first.
Let's do a game, and then we'll roll into feedback and quests and all that stuff. Get into our roundtable stuff. All right. So, in honor of Father's Day this weekend, congratulations to all the rad dads out there. Good job being a rad dad.
Rad dads, rad granddads.
Thanks for listening to the show. So we
And great
will-
granddads.
Great.
Yep.
Look at you. Gee whiz. So yeah, let's roll into a game.
What time is it? Game time! Woo!
So I've got two here. We don't necessarily need to do one. Maybe we can save one for later in the show if we have time. We'll see. But we're doing Rad Dad's Fallout 4 edition. Okay. These are just the ones that I knew off the top of my head best. Went through our old list here and looked up. We got some Rad Dads from Fallout 4. I'm going to give you the child's name, and you need to give me the dad from Fallout 4. Okay. And
we can do it. Okay.
I went and I looked at your score. You only missed a couple, and I kind of trimmed out some of the like impossible ones that I had on there. I was looking at this list that I had last time. I was like, how the fuck would you expect them to know? Who
We
these
are a
kids
few
are?
years away from Fallout 4 too. Well, Ray's played more recently, but it's been a little while.
And yeah, this is again just because Father's Day, resurrect an old game here. All right, so we'll just bounce back and forth here, and if one person doesn't know, you can always do the steal thing. We'll have fun with it here. So Ray, we'll have you go first. If I ask you to tell me the father of Daniel and Jake, do you know who Daniel and Jake's dad is?
Mr. Finch?
Mr. Finch is correct.
Mr. Finch. Don't call him Atticus.
Do you have a
That's
guess
all I
at the
got.
first name?
have
Jess,
no idea.
Jess, you want to steal a first name?
No, I honestly don't remember. If you had to ask me, I would have said Jake.
Abraham is daddy.
Abraham, okay.
Abraham Finch. All right, Jess, that poor girl who lost, she didn't lose it, the silver locket that the Raiders kept belonged to Lucy, that little farm over at the hill.
Oh, yeah. So
Who is Lucy's
that was,
daddy?
It was Lucy's daddy is Mr. Abernathy.
He is Mr. Abernathy. You guys are so good at this. You just missed
What
it.
is his name? How do I not know Abernathy's name right now? Why is it escaping
It's
me?
because I'm asking you to remember it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
on
it's
the
like
pressure.
being on
Exactly.
Jeopardy. You know all the Jeopardy answers if you're at home watching it on TV. But if you stand in front of, I was going to say Alex Trebek, and that's if you were standing in front of Alex Trebek, that would be very yikes. All right. So did you, Ray? Did you have a steal at the first name of Mr. Abernathy?
No.
Okay, we're looking at Blake Abernathy.
Of course it's Blake. Like, as soon as you say
course,
it, yeah,
but-
I can see it. But
It's Balake Abernathy.
Balake is more of a, freshman quarterback name than a dude on Abernathy farm name.
All right, Ray, we're over to you, sir. Amelia. Do you know who Amelia's dad is?
I didn't even know who Amelia is.
I can give you her last name, but it's a dead
Ashes.
giveaway.
Oh,
Amelia is Ashes, right? From Vault 88? 81?
No.
No.
I don't.
Oh.
No, I don't think there's any connection there. This is Amelia. I believe she's over at Bunker Hill. Amelia Stockton.
Oh, Amelia Stockton. Okay.
And what is her dad's name?
Old Man Stockton.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know his actual name. Old Man is how he's credited, so I'm sure he has a first
yeah,
name.
and
I
she's
just no idea.
at Covenant.
Oh, she's a Covenant, right?
Yeah, she's
in the
same.
prison cell underneath the city.
Spoilers. Or maybe she's not a Sith. Who knows?
Right, we don't know.
She is. She is.
You pull out that little chip and see. All right, Jess. How about Imogene and Jack? Who's their dad?
That would be Mr. Cabot.
Mr. Cabot is correct. I know Ray's got a steal on that one.
I mean, of course we know his name, right? I mean, like, of course, like, what with the hat?
Hat Man Cabot.
Isaac Ignacio. What is his name? Why is it not coming to me?
Lorenzo.
It's got to be
Thank you.
Ignacio Cabo. All right. All right, Ray, back to you, sir. Janie and Wally. This one's a little harder. You know where Janie and Wally live? Know who they are?
They sound like the kids that live in the farm to the far south, west of the.
Oh.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
You said far south, and I was going with you, but then you went west.
No, well, far southeast.
Go far south, and then go far east as you possibly can.
I know who you're thinking of. You're thinking of the ones at Somerset. No, think
Yeah,
Warwick.
you're thinking Somerset. Let's think Poopy Seaside Resort.
Um,
No, resort was the
crap.
wrong word.
What are those people's names?
Their names are Janie and Wally.
No, those are the kids' names.
Oh, right.
I actually remember this guy's name, I think.
I don't.
Jess, you want to help?
His last name isn't Maxon, but he's got the same first name. It's Roger Warwick.
Roger Warwick. Very good. Is it Warwick or Warwick? One of the two. Good job. Jess, I think you're going to wrap us up here. Little Sean. Who's Little Sean?
That would be Faza. Faza is Sean's
Little
daddy.
Sean's daddy.
And Faza is very disappointed. Very disappointed.
Oh, actually, one more. Who is Sean's father?
Oh, Nate.
Is that his name? Yes, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Nate
our
Nate's
name.
Nate and Nora.
Nora. There you go.
If we don't change
right.
it. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. All
Clever.
right. First, that's great. Good job, you guys.
Game over, man. Game over.
Thanks for playing. All right, let's roll into our roundtable stuff and some feedback and I thought a good way to do it would be to, we could sort of pick up a little bit where we left off and then play some feedback and then bounce our experiences off of their ideas, sort of like take their feedback as refresher and whatnot. It's been a couple weeks since I played it, so it might be good for me to hear a little bit of what they went through and be like, oh, yeah.
Exactly.
That sort of
Yep.
stuff, so.
We'll hear everybody's feedback. Good way to mix it in. Instead of doing all the quests regular this week, we can just kind of talk about some of them and then as it goes through.
Yeah, I found myself doing a lot of the same looping around, getting very familiar with certain
That casino.
rooms and stairways, fucking hologram pathings, pathways.
All this stuff is why I
Oh
thought
my
you
God.
might not love it. But last week you went on to say it's not as bad as you thought, Jess. And I'm like, well, get to the casino. We'll see how you feel by the end. But it is far longer than I thought.
Oh my gosh.
It really is.
When you were saying we were like, oh, maybe a third of the way through at the fountain, now that I'm done, I was like, maybe a 10th at that fountain. Holy shit!
Yeah,
it took
that
me
was
forever.
I guess I didn't know. No, it was far less than I expected. I do think the halfway point would be when you start the gala and get into the casino. But,
Yeah, I should have gotten people all to their their battle stations, I guess, for the lack of a better term.
That was our mistake. Yeah, because
So I guess it depends on how you play, because for me it wasn't that big a deal. So
he moves faster, like we discussed.
He
So-
does move at lightning speed. 150
so
frames a second.
I don't sprint nearly as much as portrayed in my absence.
Even when there's beeping.
Even when there's beeping, because the thing is that I've got all the speed perks,
Oh.
so I move really fast naturally.
Mhm.
And it's actually harder to sprint. So the sprint key binding is a little bit, it's not easy, so you got to tuck your thumb underneath, and you're pushing the WASD keys,
Got to be a contortionist there on
Yeah.
keyboards.
Your thumb
Not as easy
underneath
as we
what?
have
You
it
don't
with
have
our
a controller.
thumbstick.
You're on a keyboard.
So it was really just easier just to crouch into a sneak, and then I could move almost as fast as when I sprinted. So I could move faster crouched than I could standing up, because of the perks that I had.
That's
And
hilarious.
I think Tunnel Runner is the one that
Yes.
that really pushed it over the top.
That's the one that I just picked up because I heard Calm, I believe it's Calm Horizons, talking about that last week. Or I think it was him. And so I would pay special attention to that when I was selecting my level up, and I ended up taking that, and I don't know if I noticed a huge difference. So I was going to ask you about your other speed. They're not necessarily sneak speed. It's just you move faster when weapons drawn or something, or what are the other speed ones besides the Tunnel Runner?
One of them is that it doesn't. So standing up doesn't affect sneak. So I can stand up. So that one, when I actually
What?
do manage to sprint,
So you can
because when you sprint, you need a
run
lot
undetected?
Yeah, you remain undetected.
And your Pip-Boy light, too.
Yeah, I've got the Pip-Boy light, so it.
If you turn your Pip-Boy light off, though, or are they talking about just sort of an ambient light too?
No,
what I
your Pip-Boy light. So if you turn your Pip-Boy light on, to be able to see, you're
detected, obviously, right? Yeah.
Normally you would be detected, but with the perk, it negates that, so that you're just as sneaky with your Pip-Boy light on as you are with your Pip-Boy light off.
I guess I can't think of a
That doesn't
ton
really
of
help
places
you
where I
speak.
I guess I just leave mine off most of the time anyway. I don't.
Well,
See, a lot
I
of
have
people
to
turn
have
it on.
I have to have it on.
You play
to be able to
With a
see.
Super
nighttime
Dark
mod,
Nights,
yeah.
Ray.
Yeah,
You're
because I turned. I mean, that's part of the reason why I turned, the gamma up, and when I was in Dead Money, because I just couldn't see otherwise. So I've since turned it back down when I got back to the Mojave.
Stealth, I mean, really, the reason we're talking about it here is because it does make a big difference in Dead Money. And being able to stealth makes a big difference. I mean, for your characters in general, but I think in Dead Money,
'Cause-
being able to sneak up on these dudes, getting those stealth crits really helps.
Well, and just being able to sneak past them. A lot of times I would just go right past, right through an area where there were, the shuffling ghost people, and, they'd never know I was there.
Mhm. Well, it's one
Because
of
I've
those
got
things
100 sneak and, plus all the perks.
We're talking about the Fallout, and the Pip-Boy light does make it so you're not in darkness, and that affects your stealth. But Pip-Boy radio, doesn't. In Fallout 4, you can be
What?
rocking around blasting the tunes full volume, and it's like you got your little
Are you
AirPods in
serious?
because it doesn't affect your stealth at all. Nobody else hears it.
Yeah.
That can't
Yeah.
be true.
So,
No, it is true. Your
That's
Pip-Boy radio
amazing.
does not affect stealth. It doesn't.
right.
And
But the light
in
does.
New Vegas either.
I don't think it does anywhere.
I don't think it does in New Vegas either. I know it doesn't in 4, but I don't think it does in
Wow,
Vegas or
that
3.
just seems obvious, right? If your light would affect it, why wouldn't the sound? That's
They wanted you to listen.
I guess.
Your footsteps, though. Your footsteps affect
The
stealth.
thump, thump,
So-
thump, tapping my
right?
toe.
It's
Oh,
funny. You can be blasting, just any your favorite track there, chopping that meat, no big deal. But you put one foot wrong, they hear you.
yes.
Yeah. So I was able to get everybody into their spots, get them all settled in, ready to rock and roll. I did. I've got 100%, science, so I can hack all the terminals.
That does help.
I've got high intelligence, so, they're all, 4-letter words.
Yep,
and
we
by
can
the
do the
time
hardest locks.
By the time I, have clicked off all of the duds, there's only one word left.
Yeah, so my intelligence isn't quite that high, but my science is at 100, so it's no big deal. But yeah, getting people to the places. So when we last left off for me, I had just gotten a residential district. I had to pick up Dean, bring him back, and then get people to their places. So I mentioned to you before the show, but Dean, I like the voice actor. I like the style. The fact that he was kind of, this crooner, Dean Domino, and you learn a bit about Vera from him and such. But his voice actor, I'm like, that voice actor, I know him from, of all the dumbest things, Kingdoms of Avalor Reckoning. You guys know it's one of my top 20 RPGs, even though it's a little obscure, but I love it. And yes, he was completely in that. But this actor who does Dean has done so dang much. When I looked him up, he was in everything from Icewind Dale and a bunch of BioWare games to Jade Empire, Dragon Age, obviously Dead Money, Dungeon Siege, Amalur, Diablo. He's been in a bunch of Star Wars things. So, Dean Domino is he's in a lot of stuff. But I like his style.
Is it
I like him a lot.
predominantly or only video game voice acting?
No, and animations. Yeah,
And
video
animations.
games.
He's been in a lot of movies too.
Yeah, yep. Back in the day, he does more voice work these days. His recent credits are more voice acting. But I just thought that was cool. I mean, I don't recognize Christine's voice actress. Ugh.
Jess is pointing at her own throat right now,
I amused myself too
gesturing
much with that one.
wildly.
But yeah, no, I just thought he was cool. So bringing it all back, I thought that was neat. Another thing that I didn't get a chance to talk about last week since I hadn't done it, the different areas, the fact that the lighting in each area changes a little bit. So, you've got like the slightly darker purple tint in Salida del Sol and like the warmer tint up in the Puesta del Sol. And, the main villa itself has its own like redness. Like I thought it was neat how there were different tints and atmosphere. And it was a lot more dangerous as you went on, right? Like definitely more dangerous in the later areas.
Yeah. Yeah. So the hardest time I had was actually finding the path to get to your position in the bell tower.
Right. After you drop everybody off, you got to hit
Yeah.
the bell tower.
That was so twisty.
Did you have trouble with, obviously there are, you've got to get Dog to the switch. You've got to get, I almost said Veronica. You got to get Christine to her switching station, which is underground.
Yeah.
I found Christine to be the
Veronica's
hardest.
honey.
Yeah, Veronica's honey, exactly. And I like the fact that you can actually get some of that talking to her with the gestures and because we're talking about how we've got all these perks at this point, like we're really pretty high level,
Mhm.
able to understand them and have a good communication and hack the terminal for her, so she's in the better position, not locked in an elevator. But I
Yep.
found that facility a little bit. There are a couple shielded speakers that you can't get past without blowing up. Really, if you want to try to get, there's a dead body in one where you can loot some good, stim packs and stuff. And I did find it a little bit confusing in that facility, getting through without dying to the gas a few times.
Yeah.
Not bad, but took a few tries.
Yeah, I think, one of the main things, my looting was very, very limited. Because basically if you didn't have, 357 bullets, I didn't care.
Mhm.
So I didn't really spend a lot of time looting or checking in, containers and stuff. I was just moving because you know, knowing that, what you get in this area doesn't really matter, because
Yeah.
either one, you're going to stop playing, or two, it doesn't go with anything that you're going to have, for say going to the long
But
15.
you can trade it in for tokens, so stuff like being able to trade in for get the 100 coins for the upgrade to the holographle mod upgrade, or being able to trade in for a bunch of sugar bombs or your weapon repair kits and all that. Like, I was getting stuff to trade back in still, because after you get more holotapes, you can trade in clothes, you can trade in hats, you can trade in, obviously, smokes and stuff like that, and various things. Can you trade in alcohol at one point? I didn't find one for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Found vodka, I think.
I wasn't really selling anything back either. I knew I was going to get a chunk of chips when I got to the casino,
Right, of course. Yeah,
and that was going to be all I needed.
no, that makes sense.
Because that's the only thing I was going to take back with me was pre-war money.
Sweet. And gold.
No.
But we'll get there. No? Oh, you're right. You didn't. We talked about it. You didn't.
I took one gold bar.
That's awesome. So checking with chat, and we're going to hear people's feedback in just a minute anyway. But they're talking about the bell tower because you brought that up, Ray, specifically. And Silior says finding his way back from the bell tower with hard parts. That is true. After you launch the gala and the fireworks, you have to make it back. You're definitely under attack. getting back a bit, but I do think that was a little bit harder to find than some of the others, because navigating, you're basically going to the north end. It's almost the furthest point you got to go to too. Also, John mentions that that took a little while to figure out they had to leave dog to find more ghost people to get meat. Yeah, when you got to feed dog or feed God. In my case, I have never let dog out. By the way, I've kept him as God the entire time. I know people have different techniques, but at the same time, God still needs the meat to keep dog at bay, so he can stay in control to pull the switches. So it's neat how we play that different ways.
And where's the meat? Do we harvest it from those
weird
guys?
It's the bodies.
Who harvests the harvesters? We do.
What are those guys called? I always think they look like the mole miners.
Ghost people.
Yep,
Ghost
the ghost
people.
seekers, ghost harvesters, and they move all weird. They're like you're watching The Ring or some Japanese horror, but they're like, and they move slightly doing that.
Like the
it's pretty freaky, and they mob you.
The ring rates and the Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah, like they weren't that tough, but the longer you play, the harder they get. At least they escalate from this point. When you're at the point where you're getting to the watchtower, and it's just you, because you don't have dog or God with you at that point either, right? So he's not there perma-killing them. So I've always got to switch to the cosmic knife, because like I was saying, I take them out with my gun, but then I cosmic knife it, and I just stab, until finally they spurt, and then they're done.
Off. Yeah.
Right? Like, it's a funny sign, because it takes a minute, and because you get, every time you hit them, you get the thing, but then finally they pop. And that's when you know.
That's when you know.
Mm-hmm. That way you don't have to fight them twice.
Snacks. It's like when that little thing pops out of the turkey. Turkey's done. That's how you know they're done. How to you feast it on, God. All right. Why don't we go ahead and
some feedback?
Yeah, check into Solior here and see about his adventures a little bit.
Hey, all you cool cats and dolls. This is Ace Rockwell back with another report from my trips around the Mojave Wasteland. Or in this case, I'm still in the Sierra Madre. God, it seemed like I was never going to get out of here. So, I left off in my last holotape where we had all gathered at the fountain in the villa. After that, I had to get everybody in position. Dog/God had to be at the set of switches for the electricity. Gotta have power for the place. Dean Domino's smug ass had to be at Puesta del Sol South, and of course he complained the whole time. Thought I was going to stab him in the back. Really don't trust him. And Christine had to be at Puesta del Sol swishing station. She really didn't want to go in an elevator again, so I managed to take her to this terminal where she was able to get set up from there. She's claustrophobic from all that time in the auto dock, and I really don't blame her. After that, I go to the top of the bell tower, flip a switch, and it is showtime. time to go inside. Of course, once I get to the gates of the Sierra Madre, that bastard Elijah manages to knock me out again. Turns out, we all were, and we all ended up in separate parts of the building. Elijah said that now that we're inside the building, we're not bound to each other, at least not as much as we used to be. So he's trying to get me to kill the other people. I'm not going to kill anybody unless they give me a review. I especially don't want to kill Christine. I really genuinely like her. So first up, gotta find God/dog who is in the kitchen. Unfortunately, the door for that is inaccessible, so I gotta find a way around. And also dodge some killer holograms once again. This also involves restoring power to the building. So I gotta find a key to the electrical room and make my way into the kitchen, where I find God/dog trapped in a bunch of gas. So gotta turn the gas off. In the process, he and I had a little bit of a talk, and I managed to blend his two personalities together into something new. He's not going to have any memory of me or what he's done before, but he now has a chance for a better life. Never saw him again after that. Next up, good old Dean Domino. And guess where he is? Of course, the theater. He is a performer after all. Of course, as soon as I get in there, Dean's taunting me from the stage. Turns out, he's wanting everything for himself because this was his plan over 200 years ago. Elijah just adopted it. Vera was attached to Frederick Sinclair. They had a well-publicized relationship back in the day. However, what most people didn't know is that Vera was also getting it on with Dean Domino behind Frederick's back. Their plan was to execute all of this, get into the vault, take the gold, and make a run for it. I've heard this type of story before. Never ends well. And it didn't. Frederick was a little too smart for them. He knew what was going on even before Vera admit everything to him. So he locked Vera in the suite. And Dean, well, we saw what happened to Dean. So when I approached him in the theater, he goes into this villainous monologue about how he's so much smarter than us and how we're never going to catch him backstage. But I was able to prove to him that I knew how to get to the backstage, and I've been paying attention to what he's been up to. That, I think, shocked the hell out of him. Unfortunately, in the end, I had to put him down. He didn't give me a choice. Not that I was really upset about it. Now for Christine. She is in the suites where there is a hologram of Vera wandering around, and she was trying to talk to Sinclair while she was being recorded for said hologram, apologizing for everything that happened. I found Christine where Vera's body is. She never got out, and apparently was using her autodoc to overdose on Med-X. Christine can now talk. She used the autodoc to heal herself, and since it was keyed to Vera's DNA, it replicated Vera's voice. So now Christine has Vera's voice, which we can use to get into the vault. Vera's voice is the only way we can use the elevator to get down there. I think there was more security in the vault area than anywhere else, which makes sense, but I eventually did make my way in there. Inside the vault was a note to Vera because Frederick fully expected Vera to make it to the vault. He also said that if you want access to anything, do not look at his personal files. So I didn't, and then Elijah is talking to me again. He is saying that his plan is a success, and he did it all himself, which, bullshit. We all know that he couldn't have gotten in here with just him. But I convinced him to make his way down here. Forgot to mention that he has a long history with Christine, which we did know that a little bit going in here, but she has been chasing him since he left the Brotherhood to go on this wild goose chase. They went through the Big MT and quite a few other places. They mentioned Ulysses a couple of times. Elijah's also the reason why Christine and Ronnie aren't together anymore. He forced them apart, and Christine never really forgave him for that. However, I convinced her to let me handle everything with Elijah. And that I did. With Christine's help, I hacked the terminal and turned the turrets onto him, not me. They did the job for me while I got my ass out of there. I know this whole journey is supposedly about letting go, but I did manage to make my way out with a couple of gold bars. Wasn't able to take everything, but I got a little something. And it's going to help me get back to doing what I do best, protecting my strip. And this is going to help me make some improvements. Make the place a little bit more fun for everyone while they're walking around with the Securitrons. So, not much else for me to say. It's been a long journey, and I'm going to keep going. Vegas is mine now, and I'm going to make it a place for everyone, not just people representing a flag like the bull or the bear. Everyone. So, I'm going to turn this mic back over to Sulior, and I will catch you all in the wasteland.
Sounds like everything worked out in the end.
Absolutely. What's the saying? You have to go through hell to appreciate heaven, or get to heaven, something like that.
I'm not familiar, but
We'll go with that. So, yeah. Oh my God. I am very glad to experience dead money again for the first time in 14, 15 years. But I definitely got a little frustrated at times. Not really until I was in the vault or heading into the vault. So, up until then, it was kind of a logic puzzle. Like you figured out the signs for when you were by a speaker or, where speakers were. Like Andrew said, sometimes they were in the least obvious spot, but you eventually found them, shut them off, and you were fine. There was one, and the holograms. God, fuck those holograms. I eventually figured out that there was a little circular thing on the ground or stuck under a ceiling or door hang or what have you, where you can destroy that or disarm it, and you were fine. I couldn't always find those, but there was one particular room heading down to the vault where there were 3 speakers, and one of them I could not find the terminal to shut it off, and I died so many times in that room, probably more there than in the entire DLC. Like, I was getting pissed, and I felt bad because I was I was doing this on stream, and I kept my stream going because I was so close to the end. But we were coming up on 4 hours. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to put you guys through this anymore. So I ended up finishing off stream, and I was able to finish the DLC within probably 15, 20 minutes. Once I stopped my stream, I just needed to take a break, walk away, come back, and I was fine. I don't know how I got through that room though, because even when I made a run for it, my head would still pop. So I guess I just got lucky, and I got into the next room. There was 3 different terminals, and the room to where you go down to the vault was blocked by holograms. And it took me a minute to figure out that, you get into the terminal, you disable the alarms, then the option pops up to turn off the holograms. It took me an embarrassingly long amount of time to figure it out. And it was like that with the next room, too. There was a little hallway with some hologram barriers that blocked you from going down into the vault. You had to disable something, and then the option to disable the hologram door would pop up. So, let's see. I'm glad that I did it. It's probably not going to be one I do again for a long time, but I'm sure I'll play it again at some point. As far as what my favorite DLC goes, I don't know. I'd probably still go with Old World Blues, but it's probably a toss-up between Old World Blues and Honest Hearts. Lonesome Road was a lot of fun, but Ulysses monologuing for about 20 minutes straight, multiple times, kind of killed the momentum for that with me, even though it's a very interesting story. And that's kind of how I feel with Dead Money. Like, the story behind Dead Money is great. I love the story of Dead Money. Super interesting, a lot of lore behind it. But, yeah, there are other aspects of it that are not my favorite, let's just say. So anyway, loved the Roundtable. So glad to experience New Vegas again for the first time in several years. And yeah, thank you so much for putting it all together. So until next time, whenever that may be, I will see you all in the wasteland.
Experience it again for the first time.
I love it. I
Yes,
love
sir.
it, though. Like, what a satisfying conclusion. So that was a great wrap-up, Salur. I loved hearing it. By the way, we're talking about the turnarounds and the things that happen with the companions deeper in. And I had joked about Christine, voice actress, but technically, when she does speak, like, if you do things right with her and she gets her voice back and she does speak, she's actually voice acted by Laura Bailey, who's possibly the greatest voice actress of all time. You know, one of the top ever. So I should know, you know, she does have a real voice actress. It's just very, very brief.
Yeah.
And that's a different voice actress than the Vera actress.
No, that is the one who does Vera.
Oh,
Same
okay,
one.
okay.
Yeah.
She does Vera and Christine, but people know her. A lot of people in our crew know her as Serana, of course, from
The
from
Skyrim vampire.
But she's Julie Farkas too in New Vegas, I think. So yeah, a lot of voices. But she has done like more than almost anybody. She's one of the most prolific voice actresses out there. Part of the Critical Role group.
Very
Yeah,
good.
and with mine, I kept everybody alive. So, you know, I had you know, worked with Dean Domino, so he was content, you know, living his life out on the stage. I merged Dog and God, and you know, got Christine settled in. So
With Dog God, did you get them to merge, or did you have one be dominant? Did you fully
no,
merge
I
them?
merged them. Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
great that it worked out. Because I mean, as long as you take the better decision for them, you respect them. You don't, lock Dog in the cage or
Yeah.
put Christine in the elevator. Right? That would really upset her, of course. So
Yeah. And I know exactly the room that he was having trouble with getting through, because that was driving me absolutely bonkers. I could see two of the speakers, and I could take one of them out, and by the time I got lined up on the shot to take out the second one, my collar would explode. And
it's
it
hard, even on
kept
PC.
going on.
Sometimes it's hard.
So, then, even, finally I had it so dialed in. I got the first one done, shot the second one, and still my head exploded because of the third one. And so it wasn't until I tried to run even further. I tried to just run away,
Get past everything
altogether. I jumped onto this little platform, and there's this one little square that if you're standing on that, the collar stops.
So that was your safety zone for a
And
second.
I'm like, oh shit, okay. So then from that point, I could take out the speakers and get the rest of the way through. And then, you have to climb up on top of the scaffolding to be able to take out the emitters for the holograms.
Mm-hmm.
And
because a lot of things you can hack, but those you can't, right? At that point, they're those ones you can't just turn off anywhere.
no, because by the time you get to the terminal that shuts everything off, you've got to go through too many of them to get there.
Yep.
And they'll waste you. So Yeah, a lot of sneaking, a lot of hacking, and jumping. Jumping around trying to find that little sweet spot where it stopped making noise. But yeah, a lot of horrible deaths.
A lot of horrible deaths. And I really like these characters, the side stories we get with them, that they have their own motivations, the reasons for being there, from Christine or Dean and all his time he's had to kind of foment and work on a plan.
Yeah.
Andrew, you just shared a really cool picture in there of Dean on stage. Hologram Dean.
Is that actually Dean? It's hologram Dean, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hologram, but still, Dean Domino looks great.
I know that. Is that room where was it like the timer going off for like the explosion? We're trying to escape the whole. Is it the countdown of you have 60 seconds to get out of the fucking end game here? Is that the explosion you're talking about, or is it you're just straight collar sensors?
No, it was the collar.
He's talking about
collars
getting
from
there.
the beeping speakers. Yeah,
Yeah.
Because there was one stretch that I had to do on the getting out part that I know there was.
There
a
are
jump
multiple
I
routes
couldn't
you
hit.
can take.
It's such a
It
bummer.
definitely a place you want
Such a
to. You
bummer.
want to get a good solid save, before you deal with Father Elijah. You want
Yeah.
to get a good solid save there.
I ended up save scumming a little bit just to try to get to progress up a little bit.
No,
It's
it's
weird.
fair. It's fair. I want to hear it with people's feedback, like if any of them managed to smuggle the gold out and stuff like that. And if they didn't, we can talk about how that is done from that area too.
Oh Lord.
But you want to go on to the next feedback?
Yeah, let's do that. If you have enough room for that gold, you did not play right.
Well, yeah.
Ray,
I think
did you have
even if
room? I know you
took-
didn't take it, but did you have room for it?
No, I think I mean, even if you'd had every single, weight enhancing perk, and your strength was 10, and
You're
And
still
you
going to be
had- and you were
cucumbered. No matter what,
naked.
you're going to be cucumbered, and you're not going to make it out in time.
because those gold bars
were.
were 35 pounds apiece.
Oh, good Lord. What are they made of gold? Oh, wait.
Literally snorted.
Gosh, those are heavy.
Yeah.
All right, let's check in with Calm and Nikki.
Well, we finally made it. The last feedback of Fallout New Vegas. I am Nikki, the one you're all here to listen to, and we also have Matt Calm Horizons in the Discord. Today we're going to be wrapping up Dead Money and the game as a whole. Take it away.
Thank you, Nikki. So, when last we left off, all I had done was get everybody to the fountain. And so I spent the last 2 weeks, and it feels like a whole 2 weeks, doing everything else, which, God, it took so long. Anyway.
Grinding at the casino and gotta get those pre-war dollars.
No, my luck is too bad for that. I can't gamble for crap. I'd lose all my money. I got the luck that I was assigned. Anyway, I think it's like 2 or 3 or something like that. Anyway, I had no trouble getting the people to where they needed to go, except for Dean Domino wants me to turn the holograms on for security before he is going to stay there by himself. And man, it took me forever to find the second hologram. Like, God, but whatever, that was fine. So then I need to make it to the bell tower. Good God, what a maze and just endless ghost people. And so I'm thinking like, all right, so like this is the hard part of this, is when you're by yourself, even though I'm always by myself, but whatever. You're by yourself and you've got to make your way all the way to the top of the bell tower. You flip the switch to turn on the gala, and then they don't teleport you anywhere. You got to make your way all the way back.
This is the hardest part so far.
That's right. And as soon as you turn all that stuff on, it like wakes up all new ghost people. So now you got to fight through even more people on the way back. But the ghost people were no trouble. Like realistically, the ghost people were no trouble. My sneak is 100, so they don't really see me unless I get real close. And I kill them in 1 or 2 hits anyway. So I made a joke on Discord about how it actually happened one time where a ghost person managed to do any damage to me at all. Because I know, because there were multiple of them in a room and something with the speaker, so I couldn't like get where I needed to because the collar was going to go off, so I had to approach from a bad angle or something. And so like one of them threw a spear at me and it hit me. But like the ghost people have never been a problem for me. Get inside the casino. So now it's time to deal with Dog. I was so mad at the game, and I suppose I should just be mad at God, because I never once spoke to Dog. I did not ever
same.
switch to Dog from God, and I also never threatened God that I will switch him over if he doesn't do what I say. I never chose those dialogue options. I always just made sense. Like, for once, I had dialogue options that made sense that weren't speech checks, and I could just tell him, hey, we can do this together. I don't need to like switch to the guy who just does whatever I say. We can just do this together. And he's like, well, I suppose you make a good point. And so then we get all the way to the end here, and I can't, so to tell you, Dog wants to kill himself because he is tired of hearing the voice of God in his head. Okay. And so I am trying to talk Dog down, and God comes in and says, no. We don't need to kill ourselves. We just need to kill this human and then go and kill the old man. And like, why do you want to kill me, God? I've been on your side the entire time. Never have I ran with with Dog, which is always like the bonus. Like, you want to run with Dog because every time that you drop a ghost person, they get back up. But if you drop a ghost person with Dog around, he just runs over and eats them. And so they're dead for real. Never had that problem with me. Never needed that. Anyway, there's no way to convince God to not try to kill you. And so I have no speech. I was also unable to convince Dog to not try to kill himself. And so I had to kill him. I was really mad about that, but whatever. Then, all the rest of it is, Dean Domino, whatever. Holograms are annoying. Speakers are annoying. Let's talk about a maze. Trying to get to Christine up in the suites. That was... I had to look that one up. I literally had to look that one up. I could not figure out where I was supposed to go, but whatever.
Looked it up.
I know. So finally made it to Christine.
I definitely don't do it all the time.
Make it down into the vault. Got to the room with the 3 speakers that everybody was talking about was horrible. And there was like I got lucky. I don't know if maybe everybody found this and I just found it quickly or what, but like I did get killed a couple of times in there. But there was this one place on the catwalk that you can stand in the corner that was in the room, but not collar beeping. It was a very tiny place on the corner of the catwalk, but I could stand there and the beeping would stop. And that allowed me to look around and see where else I needed to go and where the speakers were and all of that. So it was really only a couple of times that I died in there. I will now take this opportunity to say I hate this DLC. It's all because of the speakers. I said this on the Discord, but the real enemy of this stupid DLC is not the ghost people. It's the speakers. It's your bomb collar. And there's nothing you can do about that. There's no leveling or gear or anything that helps you with that. And it's just so annoying. It's not fun. It's annoying, but whatever. So make it down into the vault, unlock it, and talk to Elijah on the screen. And I have no speech. I can't convince him of crap, but I end up, telling him that, I'm not interested in stealing anything. You can have whatever you want. I just want to leave. And he's like, all right, compliant. That's what I like. I've beaten the independence out of you, or whatever he says. And so he says he's going to open the vault door and I'm supposed to just walk out and stand there. And then he's going to come in and whatever. And I had looked at the table full of the gold bars and everything, and I had grabbed two. I had grabbed 2 gold bars off of the table. And so when I walk out the vault door, he says, "Thought you could steal from me, huh?" Or something like that, and turns all the turrets on against me. And so I'm like, oh, I mean, I guess, but I wasn't. Okay, fine. And so I reloaded, and I didn't take any of the gold bars off the table because I don't actually care. And so the whole spiel again, walk out the vault again. "Thought you could steal from me, did you?" And like, no, I didn't. I'm not. I'm literally complying. I'm just standing here like you told me to.
I just want to leave.
Fine, whatever. This is going to be how it is. That's fine. And so I went back into the vault. I have 100 science, so I was able to hack the terminal to change the targeting priority on the turrets. And so the turrets blasted Elijah to death without me having to do anything. And
Didn't even throw a punch.
Didn't even throw a punch. Did not punch Elijah. Now I'm sad I didn't punch Elijah. Oh well, what you gonna do?
He deserved it.
And then, of course, now Elijah is dead, and so your collar is beeping, and you have to make it out of the whole vault room before you explode. And I didn't realize this at first, and so I was trying to do the normal way, that all the force fields are back up. But, like, Elijah just walked through them. Why can't... Whatever. So I died because I ran out of time because I was trying to go the normal way. Again, I don't... Games where your progress is trial and error of exploding until you find the right way, that's not satisfying. That's not fun. That just completely takes me out of the game. But whatever. So made it out, and I, when I talked to Christine and convinced her to not confront Elijah, she was talking about how she was going to go hide, and I said that I'm gonna find you after this is over. And so when I get out of the casino and I'm now just sitting in the by the fountain again, I'm like, oh, okay, well, where's Christine? Who knows? She doesn't exist anymore as far as I can tell. And so I eventually just left the DLC, and the end cards told me what happened to people. And, Dog, of course, is dead, and Dean Domino, whatever. I didn't actually care, whatever. I would have liked to have seen a happier ending for Christine, but maybe her vigilante justice type, what is she? She's protecting other people from the Sierra Madre, making sure people stay out, and the ghost people don't bother her and whatever. So maybe this is like a happy ending for her. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it, but whatever. I did get Vera's dress, though, and so I was able to, the last thing I did for Stella was stand outside the Lucky 38 wearing Vera's dress and get a nice screenshot of that, because I really liked the idea of this, swanky fancy dress as Ms. New Vegas owning the town and, living her best life. I thought that was a fitting place to put this character to rest. So I will say I did actually make it to level 50. I actually hit max level. And
good job.
Yeah.
Wow.
Took the level 50 perk and then immediately regretted it because it resets your karma to 0. But whatever, it's not important. It doesn't matter. I also managed to have, my speech and barter were still at like 11 or something like that. And I hadn't made it to be able to put points into, I think, energy weapons. But every single other skill was 100. Everything else was 100 except speech and barter and energy weapons. I was running out of places to put points. And level 50. So look at you, Stella Wren. How did I feel about New Vegas this time? This is the first time I've ever beaten the game, and the first time I've done any of the DLCs except for Honest Hearts. I don't regret not beating the game before. Like, it really, I was never excited about doing the Battle for Hoover Dam before, which is why all of my playthroughs petered out before, and I would not have done it this time if we hadn't been doing it for the Roundtable. I love the game. I do think it's really fun, but once you start getting into the actual nitty gritty of taking over New Vegas and deciding what happens to the Mojave, and then you're supposed to be building to this, climactic battle, but like it never seems like it matters that much. I don't know. It feels very hollow and just video gamey almost. Like it feels like there's not any important, impactful story going on. But I don't regret doing it at all, right? Like it was a very fun season, and I am very glad that we did it. But
I enjoyed talking with you about it.
My ranking still stands. I still think Fallout 4 is my favorite, and then Fallout 3, and then New Vegas. I haven't played London, but that is still my preference for the 3D Fallouts. So, Nikki.
Or 76. I haven't played 76.
True, I have that, MMO type. That's not my jam. So, Nikki, what was your favorite moment in the whole 15 episodes?
15, goddamn.
I really liked to show off my acting skills.
In what way?
Being the reporter.
Yeah, that was also...
I designed most of the script.
That was also my favorite. That was a whole lot of fun, setting all that up. It was also your idea to grab the sound effects and plug them in there and stuff. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. I really liked it. Okay, any final thoughts?
I don't think so.
Okay, all right. Thank you for the opportunity, guys. Love doing these. Maybe we'll see you next time.
Maybe. We
need a break, but we're taking a break. Everybody's taking a break for a little while. So maybe by the next time we'll be ready to go again. Anyway, we'll see you in the wasteland. Say goodnight, Nikki.
Good night, Nikki. For the final time.
For the final time.
Forever, ever?
No, we're talking about that a lot of the emails came in. This is the last feedback, final feedback, 15 episodes, which means, 30 episodes. This is our longest roundtable. But yeah, a lot of the emails came in with, you mentioned they were all saying, oh, it's finally over. I'm so sad it's over. Or we're done.
So what, 30 episodes? How many episodes would Fallout 4 and all of its DLCs be? Would it be 30 episodes as well? Longer, shorter? What do you think?
So I'm pulling it up, and I'm pretty sure that when we did that, it was not.
We did
longer.
The main story and both?
No, we didn't. You're right. The Fallout 4 was the survival DLC. So we had a few weeks of free play, then we started doing all the DLCs. And then when we did the Fallout 4 factions that time, we didn't require DLC during that. So no, we didn't hook them all together. If we were to do that, given that their Fallout 4 DLC survival was by itself 20 episodes at least, and the factions was like 24, yeah, we'd be 40 episodes in.
Oh, easy, yeah.
It's a long game. It's a very long game.
All right. You guys, much appreciated, Nikki, and calm all your submissions all season long. He was talking about how he got to level 50. That's awesome. Congratulations. You definitely deserve a shout out.
Scorecation!
Level 50 is awesome. But you're mentioning, I was surprised you still had 3 categories that were not level 100, because I'm level 42, 2, something like that. And I also only have 3 categories that are not at 100.
You can take perks that give you more skill points and your intelligence.
Yeah, I was going to say
too.
different experience points and all that must change that balance. And speaking of balance, he was like he didn't like the bomb stuff, but I was thinking in the back of my head when he was talking about the not being able to do anything about the bomb collar. Basically, I was like, well, that kind of makes it the great equalizer. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do anything against it if you're melee. You can't do anything against it if you're a ranged character. So you're fucked either way. So we're all in the same basket. At least there's that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I like the way that he put it, though. that the speakers are the real enemy
Yeah.
there. Exploding, it is the great equalizer. Like, we're all kind of under that.
Yeah. You guys, Ray, what level did you get up to? You didn't get to 50, did you?
No. I think when I came out, I was level 40.
Nice.
And then
and then you went to 15, the long 15.
quickly got to level 41. It might have been as I left, as it finished, the final XP from the casino.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might have kicked me to 41, and then going through some of the long 15, I've gotten to 42.
Nice. I'm 43 or 44 right now. If I go back, when I go back and finish Lonesome Road, I hope I will probably get higher into the 40s. But it sounds like Random might be our highest at about 49 to end. But I think a lot of us are in the 40s at this point.
Yeah, it's certainly hard not to be, especially, when the big jumps came in the DLCs, because those were pumping out XP like crazy.
And why did they do that? Just because they made the enemies more difficult, so they made them more valuable XP wise, or what?
Well, and I think that they recognized that they added 20 levels,
right?
Because the cap was 30. By the time you added all the DLCs, it was up to 50, and they needed some way to get you there.
Yep. So harder enemies, more XP. Higher level, more XP. It makes sense. But I still got to get you there in a shorter time, if you do it all. Because we're talking about that, like, you go faster, but none of us hit 50 quite yet. So,
well, that makes me think that even though the game doesn't want you to go to a certain level, a certain area before level 40, level 50, or whatever, Ray's like, I'm going to go there with my brand new character to level up quickly and get their end game weapons with my level 2 character. Because it's Starfield in New Vegas. How about his scathing review of New Vegas?
So I thought that was really interesting.
Behind. Oh my gosh.
I like the idea that, he played it, he enjoyed it, but it didn't change his rankings, and he's fine with the fact he didn't do the ending before, that the ending was not as satisfying. Yeah, I was looking at my notes because I wrote down a few things we were talking. I had written predetermined, not satisfying, but I think that was about the ending here. That you get there and the final battle, everything's leading to it, but it's smaller. It's, I guess, anticlimactic is almost the word. After all these pieces, and the fact that together it becomes an epic, but the ending final battle itself is a bit anticlimactic. And there's also, they can only do so many enemies on screen. Part of the technology at the time, they probably would have loved to have a larger battle, but it's kind of like when you're doing the final gate in Oblivion, and it's the epic battle, and you've got people from every town, and it's like just a few of you there in a field cheering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, there's only so much you can do in the engine back then.
Like
and it was crowd. Yeah, I think it's hard. Any of the games now that end with a hard ending, that's harder to take.
Mm-hmm.
Since we've had so many games with with open-ended gameplay after the main quest is completed.
Yeah, it really does. That the final ending, locking you off, finishing the game, it does change the way you feel about it, I think.
Yeah. Well, and especially like this one, because we did the DLC last, the game didn't end, at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended the game, and then we had to jump back a save before the end, because I had gone up several levels, during the ending.
The final run.
And I specifically chose perks and skills advancement for the things that I knew were coming up in the at the end
DLC.
Of the game. No, to finish the end of the game.
Okay.
Because I knew that after that, all that was going to get erased.
That's true. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I
It
was
does
going
change
back
the
to
feel.
another save. And then the skills and the perks that I took, in the DLC were specifically to help me in the DLC.
So long story short, probably should have put it a little bit earlier and done it in the proper order to actually finish the game in order to have a fully fleshed out character that had done everything. I get that. Even though I was worried.
Yeah. And, Calm had the best build.
That was the funny thing that compare the 2 weeks, compare the way he was talking about it last week when he was saying that this is what he's been training for, that he has been building his build for this DLC. He knew it was coming the entire time at the end of the tunnel. So he was ready for the melee. He was ready for most of what this brought on. But still, the lack of speech in this DLC is still it caused trouble.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need the speech to have satisfying conclusions to, the various characters.
No matter how you play. Yeah, he talks about how he was good with God and had that situation. And yet at the end, there's the whole, the getting the dog not to off himself there. But then if you favored God, you can go with God. If you favored dog, you can go with God. But in either case, you still need a speech of 75, I think, to get
85.
that ending.
85.
85 to integrate. If you wanted to integrate,
merge.
it's 85 to merge. Yeah. But if you want to just have one of them dominant and, take over from the other, you 75. But
yeah. Yeah. Because for me, the only time I ever, so I talked to God at the very beginning, when I met him in the jail cell, and then switched him over to dog. He was dog all the way through until I left him at the switches. And then I had to switch him back to God to make sure that he stayed there.
Right.
Because dog didn't want to be in a cage.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't really, I had no real relationship with the God character. And so, but because my speech was high, I was able to do the merge so that they, could reconcile and one didn't have to win out over the other one. They could become a complete being and live happily ever after in their oblivion.
It's like a greeting card, right?
And the same thing with Dean. I'd speech check the heck out of him, to get him to be happy with his, plight of, forever being on stage.
Perform forever to his threes of fans.
Yeah. His holographic fans.
They're not even real, Dean.
So,
that's funny.
yeah. And, so I dropped, so when you're in the police station, getting dog together, you can find a locker that has 3 blocks of C4 and a detonator. And so that's what I used to drop on the floor where Elijah was going to be at some point when he was trying to kill me.
Smart.
And blew him up. So that was my solution to Elijah.
Yep.
So
that makes sense. But I do feel that in some ways, like was hinted at with Christine, kind of staying on as a guardian here, or a few things like Dean. I mean, Dean can leave the Sierra Madre if you take a certain path with him, right? After he's done there, wraps up, he lives, he can leave. But they're not super satisfying endings for the companions in a lot of ways that you're aware of. I mean, especially the Christine thing. Yeah. And I wonder if it's because they didn't want to integrate her with everything that happened before. They didn't know what you had done with Veronica. And so they didn't want to have any kind of reunion slide because it would just add too many variables.
Come on. How great would that have been to reunite them, though?
Right. Like, that's I feel weird about that ending. I do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know right where she is. She's standing on the bridge at 188.
The 188.
There you
She's
go.
standing right there, man.
But a couple of things on Com and Nikki's feedback there. So it's so long. We already talked about that, but it's true. Getting to the bell tower, getting back, waking up all those ghost people. It is annoying too. Like you think there'd be a finite number of ghost people, but no, they keep coming back. They come out of the walls. They keep coming at you. I didn't mention the assassin suit, but I really like that armor. That, I switched to that. I do like that armor a lot.
I ended up in that because of the tunnel runner. You have to be in light armor or something. Is that right?
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, you need the light armor.
Yeah, so I ended up in that, and then the helmet also happened to be light.
Yeah, the Sierra
helmet
Madre
was.
regular armor is still light.
Right.
As well as the assassin suit, but the assassin suit has the bonus.
And then I found
that's
like an advanced one of those later on. Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But the guard armor weighed less with a higher DT.
Yeah, it did. It was 15 weight and 16 DT for me, whereas it's 14 DT and 20 weight, if I remember correctly.
I was just trying to haul ass.
Yeah, but it's good. So I think that was kind of all I had on his feedback in general. We had Killing God. He didn't punch Elijah. He tried to take another way, but used turrets on him. Speech, barter, energy are the only ones he didn't fill up, which, those ones are going to cause you some pain. Yeah. But he committed to the role play, committed to the way to go. And the ranking still stands. I get it. It's all in what you value in the games, too. This is, in some ways, the least open. Yeah, it has a lot of permutations, but it's very story-based in a way that some of the others aren't. And if you don't vibe with that, and if you don't vibe with the possible endings you can take, because even though there are more choices and ramifications and branches than a lot of the other games, Bethesda versus the games, it's still, you have to like the ones that it gives you. Yeah. And sometimes, like I'm talking about with Christine and other things, you feel like, no, I butted up against this. I did everything right, but because I didn't have speech, I didn't get it. And so I get how that would be unsatisfying, even so. But I love it.
Yeah. Great work, Nikki.
Yeah, pretty much. Good job. Also, when Nikki said, he wrote it, I didn't think he was talking about sketch. I thought he was saying he wrote all Matt's feedback all season. I'm like, oh, really? So he's the real writer behind it all.
Scripted everything.
Funny. Well, you want to get into the next feedback?
Let's do it. Let's see. Next. Looks like... Who's up? Is it Vanessa?
Hey everyone, it's Vanessa with my last ever feedback for Sterling Price. So pretty long DLC, that one, quite a bit to get through, so I'll just try and hit the main bullet points and then do a little wrap-up of Sterling's progression at the end. So initially I started off just with the last town bit of the quest to complete, where we just have to get up the tower and start the gala. Took me a little while to find my way through there because, with the objective being up high, I wasn't looking to go through a cellar to get there, but I figured it out eventually. Then we trigger the opening night and loads of ghost people appear out of nowhere. Sterling shot a couple of them, but mostly just ran past them to get back to the fountain area. So finally we get to go into the casino, and again I got stuck for a little bit on this bit. There's two hologram guards in the first room of the casino, and the one at the back that's just standing in front of a corridor. It took me a while to get rid of him. So I went through all the rooms, behind the bar, upstairs, downstairs. Went through them all a couple of times, eventually noticed he was gone, so I must have missed a terminal or something on my first go through, but got there eventually. And then Elijah wants us to deal with our three companions after that, so starting with Dog, who's locked himself in the kitchen. And he had quite high perception, actually, it seemed, because I had to reload a couple of times to get all those gas valves shut off without him spotting me. Once I'd done that, spoke to him, passed a speech check to merge him and God into a new personality, and then hovered over the trigger for a while, wondering whether to attack him, because from memory I thought that he'd rampage through the wasteland if you leave him alive, just killing people, but in the end decided not to risk an unnecessary fight. So from this point onwards, each time you go back into the entrance area of the casino, several ghost people have spawned, 6 or 7 of them or so. Next up, we go and deal with Dean, and as we go through this quest, we learn about what a scummy person he is. So He's tried 200 years ago to rob the casino, which he needed a sample of Vera Key's voice for, so he's blackmailed her over her Med-X addiction. And then back in the present, we learn that he's the one that's operated on Christine to try and give her Vera's voice. So while Sterling had been on good terms with Dean through the quest so far, ultimately he decided to kill him at the end of this section. And then finally we go and find Christine, who's in the hotel part of the casino. And going through all these rooms, the radios and the holograms start to get a bit old, really. So some of the radios are locked away in rooms you can't yet access, so we spent a lot of time looking for them pointlessly, as it turned out. And then a lot of the emitters are hidden behind bathroom doors or behind sofas, so again, it took a little bit of searching to get those dealt with. Eventually we get to Christine in Vera's old room, and then with her assistants and again some voice recordings, we managed to access the vault, where there's even more emitters and speakers and guards and whatnot. So I got stuck for quite a while at one point trying to find a speaker, which turned out to be above a door, which I had been shooting at, but from a bit of an angle. So I thought I was shooting at the wrong thing because it wasn't doing anything, but it turned out I was just aiming really badly. So I got through that in the end. So Sterling gets to the final room, finishes reading up on Sinclair's obsession with Vera, and then loads up on all the gold bars, even though he's got absolutely no need of money by this point. And then triggers Elijah's entrance. And I really wanted to kill Elijah, but every time I attacked him, he just ran past me, back out the vault and shut me in. So I had to settle for sneaking past him and leaving him locked in, which was annoying because last time I did this, it was the opposite, and I wanted to lock him in, and he kept spotting me, and then I would have to attack him, and I didn't seem to have any trouble killing him then, but it seemed to elude me this time. But anyway, it is kind of satisfying to walk away from the vault and see him stuck there. So that's the end of Sterling's story. So God didn't go on a rampage after all in the ending slides with his merged personality. And Christine stayed behind to guard the Sierra Madre. So yeah, that's it. The slides for this one are pretty short and straightforward compared to some of the others. So wrapping up, despite all the speakers and holograms and me just moaning about them, I'm one of those people that prefers Dead Money to the other DLCs. Just the premise of it, the casino trapped in time, and the whole idea that its SOS broadcast is never heard by anyone because its sound systems play in the opening gala is just kind of poignant, I suppose. But yeah, it's quite a marathon, that Roundtable. So Sterling finished up about level 46 or 47. His tag skills was guns, repair and survival, which he used all three of those throughout the game. Mostly used a shotgun, which was a lot of fun. I've always in the past preferred to stay out of harm's way. I sort of tend to play quite cautiously, so I prefer something with a longer range. But yeah, I think I'm a bit of a shotgun convert there. Repair is just useful. Like, I think jury rigging is probably the most useful thing in the game. It'd be a real pain to play without it. And then survival, so while I didn't play on hardcore, Sterling did sort of lean into the survival a bit by only using food for healing. Even took the Them's Good Eating perk that you were discussing the other week, because who doesn't want to wring the last drop of red paste out of a still warm corpse? And it's great that you can even get sausages from a robot.
Bite my shiny metal ass!
Sterling was meant to not fast travel anywhere. That was his little character quirk, which I tried to stick to for a few weeks, but after like the 10th time of walking between the Mojave Outpost and Good Springs, I buckled. What else? Oh yeah, so I followed the Viva New Vegas modding guide for this, chucked a few other things in on top of it, and I don't think I had a single crash or infinite load screen in all the time that we played, so shout out to that, recommended. And that's it, yeah. So it's been a blast. It's been great to hear everyone else's feedback, and thanks to you all for organising it. And I will see you all in the Commonwealth, maybe. Cheers. Bye.
I don't know which wasteland is next. Cheers, Vanessa. Thank you.
Mojave Wasteland is next. Wait, what? Are we replaying? Yes, let's start again. Let's start again at the beginning, you guys.
All right, let's do 2 in a row. Back to back. Here we go again.
No, the Mojave Wasteland is next because we're going to be talking through the Fallout TV shows next. So, as our regular roundtable portion during the show for the next month or two, we're going to be talking about one episode a night. So, we'll do our gameplay, our regular chat, and then in place of the roundtable, we're going to do a mini vault talk. Well, a regular vault talk in the middle of the show for like an hour and cover each episode. So, that is the next roundtable from our side.
All right. So, I was thinking, how's the feedback aspect of this roundtable going to work? We're going to limit them to like 2 minutes of feedback and do many episodes.
We weren't going to do any feedback because it's not really a roundtable. It's a roundtable discussion with us, Vault Talking, but not
No. This is a round. Okay, we're going to roundtable the hell out of this, right? Okay, so, all right. So, Lior, you have to watch it on mute with captions only. Ray, no visual at all. You just have to listen. You can't watch it all.
Who has to watch it in French?
Jesse has to watch it in reverse order. And I have to stand on my head to watch it. All right.
Okay, and anyone who complained about Ulysses has to watch it at 0.5 speed, so everything takes so much longer.
Oh no. They have that on podcasts. Who listens to podcasts at half speed? Who does that?
I get faster. I don't really get well, actually the way I talk sometimes I can understand wanting to slow it down a little.
Oh,
but
well.
in general.
Get Jess on some caffeine and she can get going.
In general, not half speed. That's a bit much.
Yeah, I noticed that option the other day and I was like, why? But I don't know. Maybe that is a good point. If you're learning language learning podcasts, that sort of thing, slow it down a little bit. I could see that.
But I love it. You know, some of the crew mentioned in chat that we probably would hit level 50 if we did this before the ending, which makes sense. After I finish, I do want to rerun the ending to get a different ending myself. We'll see if I actually do, but I'd like to. She mentioned the emitters were hard to find. I do feel like the emitters got harder to find as we went on.
Yeah.
There were more shielded emitters as we went on, like you're talking about. A few more shielded you can get, a few harder to find, a few more head explosions. I guess they wanted to make sure that you definitely got that. I really liked Christine's perk, delaying the explosions. That was nice. Wish we could have kept that.
Nice. Did you guys find all the stashes that Dean put around the place? It was like 15 or more stashes.
There are 15. I've only got like 8.
Yeah,
9
I
maybe.
definitely
I don't
didn't.
think I've got 8. Yeah, I got like 5 maybe.
Yeah.
Well, you got to get the Chivos, right? I don't think there's a Chivo for that.
Oh,
but I dropped in chat. There's an achievement for getting 500 of the Sierra Madre coins, so had to get that one. That was important.
Yeah, I was really concerned about that one at first, but then like by the time I was over, I was like, you would stumble into 500 easily by the end of this DLC. I would think. You don't even need to pick up. I was stopping and picking up every single one in the fountains and like picking up one on the ledge and there's one on the rail over here. I'm gonna stop. I got to stop and get that. There, you find them in bulk by the end of the DLC. You know,
we're obsessive. You got to shovel them up like a shovel butt.
I just didn't know, but now that I know, I wouldn't. Maybe that's why it took me 58 hours to finish.
Actually,
the DLC.
now that you mentioned that, it may have something to do with why it's so long for some of us.
Maybe.
And she's right. There's no need of money. Like Vanessa said, Sterling has no need of the money. I mean, literally with his name, a name like Sterling. But no, he's got no need of the money. He's already rich. He's already, king of the wasteland.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I need cash, I just go see No Bart. Play a few hands of Caravan.
I'm
Exactly.
surprised you're allowed anywhere.
I still can't believe you got kicked out of the Sierra Madre during the brief time that we can actually, gamble here with holograms. But what's the limit here? Is it 10,000, 7,500?
Yeah, once you get over 10,000, then they finally kick you out. But that was my reward. That's why I didn't need any of the gold. Was because when you cash in your chips with the hologram at the casino, you can cash into pre-war money, and pre-war money is worth a lot more outside the when you when you deal with vendors in the Mojave. So I ended up with more cash ending the DLC than if I had taken the gold out and sold it for the
Crazy, because
100,000.
yeah, you can trade so much from the pre-war money because they got so much. Wow, that's
So
crazy.
that's what kept me from having to use one of the many methods for getting gold out of the casino. My favorite of which is putting it in Father Elijah.
Yeah, using him like a Gary. That's the method that I know. That's the method that I know, is using Father Elijah like he's a Gary. And you got to kill him next to the force field where his body like is just on the edge or falls through. You can transfer all the gold bars to him, because you got to tuck him nearby. Transfer him to him. And then because you can find that force field again on your way out. It's right down the tunnel from where you're finally leaving if you make your way out.
Yep.
So you just go, you loot him right at the end, and then you only have to waddle. You only have to like duck walk for like the last
for a little bit,
20 seconds. I agree with Vanessa too that jury rigging is probably the most useful perk in a lot of ways. I mean, it's so useful.
Yeah.
If you're it's the classic thing though. It's the problem they created. It's the best perk because it lets you work around a stupid system, which is weapon degradation, which we don't really need or like.
Well, and the thing is that especially as you get later in the game, it's harder to find specific weapons. It's easy early on because most of the powder gangers, have 9mm, 10mm weapons, so you can repair your standard pistols. But when you start getting deeper in, even the jury rigging, it's hard to find things to repair Christine's sniper rifle with.
Right, some things don't match.
Yeah.
Some things don't match.
So, but yeah, that's a huge perk.
Really helps.
Yeah, it was. So, even as a devout cannibal, which I didn't take cannibal in this playthrough, but so I'm a little bit creeped out about the sausage.
Right? Why is that worse? Why is that worse? But it kind of is, isn't it? You're like, you're getting like their internal red rope licorice. Like what?
Let's step back and look at, what is your availability of, clean sanitizing solutions? Because sausage is stuffed inside of intestines.
Yeah, it's true. True.
And, what are you using to clean those intestines? You're not boiling them, because you're probably not carrying a hot plate with you and a beaker, to boil those intestines. So
those hot plates are all over the place in here.
Just nasty. Even if you clean them out, and, then you're putting, what are you putting in them? It's the same thing as being a cannibal. Only grosser.
It's true. I don't know if we mentioned last time.
At least with ass jerky, you can stick to the flesh.
But it is kind of ass jerky-esque. Like the way Matt put it, that like, yeah, if you're a cannibal, you can only eat on Mr. House's rotting corpse there. But, if with this perk, you can bring his innards and just kind of sip on them as needed. It's funny. Talking about cannibal, too, and Vanessa, with her feedback, she mentioned that she had cannibal assigned to her as an assigned perk when we did the 76 roundtable last time. And she loved the animation digging in and the whole, like, just tucking into a corpse.
Yeah, you bury, you got stuff flying all around you.
Does New Vegas have a animation like that?
I don't know that I've actually ever done cannibal in New Vegas.
I don't think it does. I mean, I love the perk, but I don't know. Yeah. It's probably just a very like simple kneel. I think if there is one.
Yeah, the only game that it's ever really I only use cannibal when it's efficient.
Oh right, of course. You didn't choose the cannibal life; it chose you with its efficiency.
Yeah, well, because in Fallout 76, which is where I started being a cannibal. there was a daily, an hourly, need to eat something and drink something.
Yep.
Otherwise, you started getting debuffs.
Can't
And
have
so
that.
it was so handy to just be able to, boom. Oh, okay. I need to eat and drink. So it all counts. So
When you're a murderous cannibal, the world is your buffet. Absolutely.
it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious.
So, yeah, I think one of my favorite things was when Clint and I, there was some photo challenge it was you were supposed to set a big table, luxurious dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And so he and I lured a bunch of ghouls into this building that I built at the White Spring. And, we killed them in there, and then I started eating them. We got them all piled up on the table and everything. We took pictures.
Just lounging for the photo challenge, the feast. Yes. Oh, that's awesome. Any other thoughts on the feedback, or should we keep going? We got a lot. To hit.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a couple more to get to. My last thought was you were talking about weapon degradation, jury rigging to sort of get around that. And then I was thinking, oh, thank God they didn't bring over that bullshit to Fallout 4, right? That I don't have to do a weapon that my armor doesn't degrade, my power armor doesn't. Oh, wait a second. Power armor does degrade. Why on earth?
The fusion core aspect.
Well, also the condition.
Right.
Why would they bring that over, but only for?
I don't know.
And power armor is totally different in 4 than it is. Like, it's sort of like a suit you hop into. Like,
And
but
it's
this
back
is
for
a
everything
walking
in
fucking
76.
tank in this one, but it's like pants and 7 and
I
in
think
New Vegas.
it's a self-limiting. It stops power creep in a way. If they're going to give you something as powerful as power armor, they need to give things that kind of make it a little bit more difficult. Stumbling blocks, if you were. So the fusion core is one, you need a power for it. And then
Right.
degradation 2, you can't just go through the whole thing without ever repairing your power armor and just, stomp every challenge like Godzilla.
Boom. Godzilla versus Bam.
I think we should have weapon and armor degradation in every game.
Do you
More
now?
degradation and lower carry weight. That's what Ray says.
Because it's, if you if you shoot a gun, you've got to do maintenance on it.
Mint every time. 100th bullet, same as the first.
Same thing with, you're not going to want to take too many hits to a Kevlar vest, before you replace it.
No,
because
you're
the next
absolutely
one's
right.
going to slip through.
It is real, and we enjoy that simulation aspect of the game. Like, we complain, but to an extent we do, but there's a balance, It's the whole finding the fun. It's like not having fuel in Starfield, but some people wanted it. And like in survival, needing to eat and drink and everything else. Like, sometimes once you get used to it, it's fun. It becomes part of the fun and the challenge. But I get it.
Yeah, that was one big disappointment in Starfield that they took that fuel element out.
It would have been neat.
And the mods that added in were just a little bit too clunky, because the system wasn't built into the game. It just didn't work as smoothly as it
probably would have with however they did it. Yeah.
We got Rando up next. Let's check in with Rando Wasteland.
The Misadventures of Mojave Myra. This is too much. This has all been too much. God, Dean, Christine. Oh God, Christine. Why did I lie to Christine? Why couldn't I have been smarter? Why couldn't I have hacked that terminal? I don't know what to do with situations I can't talk or punch my way out of. After I dropped off Dean and turned the holograms on for him, I guess Big Mr. Ghoul needed night lights, dropped off God, and left him a snack. I took Christine to where she was supposed to be. But I couldn't hack that terminal. Wasn't smart enough. But we had to get the gala started. We have to get in the casino. We've got to get this done so I can get out of here. So we can all get out of here. But I told her that we were going to go up and see if we could do anything upstairs, and she stepped in, and I sent her down in that cramped space. Claustrophobia probably driving her crazy after being stuck in that auto dock with all those endless surgeries with no stem packs or medics. But anyway, we got the gala started. Fireworks, a grand display of bullshit. And I headed straight for the casino. When I got there, they were all there passed out on the floor. And I joined them. When I woke up, they were all gone. I guess Dean, God, and Christine all fit the profile of people who already had rooms. Dean to the theater, God to the kitchen, and Christine up to the suites. God, Christine. I had to get to Christine and talk to her. But first, there was powering up the casino and turning off holograms and all this stuff that bastard Elijah wanted me to do. And then he tells me I can convince them to help or kill all of them. I just love these decisions. And of course, nobody made it easy. Dean decided to be difficult immediately, hiding behind the security holograms in the theater. But after running around, shutting those down and making my way to him, he still made it hard. I tried to talk to him, tried to get through this together, but he started shooting at me. And I'm not going to say it didn't feel good to cut him down on those stairs. And then I had to God in the kitchen, arguing with himself. Him and Dog going back and forth. Dog had turned all the gas valves on, I guess. Decided he was going to blow himself up. But after turning them all off and getting him to talk to me before anything sparked up, and after some convincing, those two decided to trust each other and kind of meld their minds together. By the way, Dog is a super mutant, or God is a super mutant. Kind of two personalities in the same head, real... You get what I'm saying. I don't think they're going to remember me, but I hope they find a way to live a good life. In this time for Christine, I made my ways up to the suites. I was really hoping I could talk to her, that we could smooth this over and we could get out of here together. She could come back to the Lucky 38 with me and Veronica and work on getting over this. But no. The first thing I heard when I stepped off the elevator on that floor was, "There you are, bitch." And once again, after working my way through holograms and security, unlocking doors, dodging poison gas, I was face to face with Christine again. But no amount of talking was going to fix this. She's been so obsessed with Elijah and the trauma of the auto dock. She doesn't trust anyone. She's not going to trust anyone. I tried. I really did. But she started shooting, and I cut her down right there on the floor. I killed Christine. Veronica can't know about this. She's already lost her once. She doesn't need to know that she was alive and tortured and then killed by me. That's staying here. That's something that's going to haunt me for the rest of my life. But then, of course, I had to go back down to the lobby, get the voice recordings to get into the vault elevator and head down. And then guess who decided to make another appearance? That's right, Father Elijah. I went into the vault, walked straight past the stacks of gold and everything in there, straight to the computer. I just want to get out of here. I want to forget this place as fast as possible. But Elijah won't come down. Guess he doesn't trust me after I've done all this stuff for him. So he made me wait outside the vault. So I did. And he comes out yelling about me being a thief and shooting at me. I was so done. A few crosses from this gauntlet I made took him down fast enough. And then it was get the hell out of there. Running back through all the bullshit that I disabled to get back to the elevator just to get home. Just get me home. That's all I kept saying. Get me home. Get me home. And here we are. I'm riding in this for the last time. Standing in front of the fountain where I brought Christine, God, and Dean to start this little excursion. And this is where this book is staying. It's not going back with me. If you read this, heading toward the Sierra Madre, yeah, it's open. Yeah, there's treasure in the basement, but it's not worth it. Turn around and go back. Find somewhere to call home. Find people you trust and love and care about. There's nothing in this world worth more than that. Goodbye. Hi. Rando here. I just wanted to say thank you. This has been an absolute blast. I had no idea where any of this was going when we started. But it's been one of the better times I've ever had in my life. I just want all of you to know I appreciate you. All you feedbackers, you're awesome. I've enjoyed listening to you every week. And Ray, Jess, and of course Andrew, you guys are awesome. Thank you. You might say that you can't do this without us. Well, we don't have anything to listen to without you guys. So love you all. Until next time, see you in the wasteland.
Beautiful. It's so many of you guys involved that make it worth doing. So much appreciated.
I'm glad we got Rando at the end there, because let me tell you, the final chronicles of Myra Tenpenny, that was a downer, man. That was you have seen this character go through so much. The evolution of Myra from the lighthearted, Rando character at first, traipsing around Emperor's New Clothes, forgetting to put on her outfit and all this and that, to everything she went through, what she's lost.
To killing Veronica's girlfriend. Gee whiz.
Exactly. Veronica, who is, she really cares about and is, her companion, kind of best friend, I think, in the Wasteland at this point. Now, obviously, with the way that it played out, like Rando is saying, she had been tortured. She had been obsessed and on a quest to get Elijah. She had been stuck and following for too long. She had gone through heck. She had been tortured, and it broke her a bit. She was broken in that way of doing it. And it is, it is a choice, because obviously if you get her with the terminal, you can get the better ending, air quotes, better ending for her and not fight her. But it's that single thing. Sometimes in games, the fact that it is still a game and it's gamified, that the idea that a person's fate hinges on one thing that may have seemed insignificant at the time, it's hard, man. It's hard. You want to go back and take it back.
Well, so one thing that might have helped Myra would have been when she tried to hack the terminal to, help keep Christine, out of the elevator. Taking off the damn Fist of Ra. How in the world? She's sitting there at the terminal trying to type, and she's got this big ass hand on her with the giant claws. Like,
girl got nails for days. She can't
How
hack.
in the world do you expect to type with that thing on, for crying out loud?
You should see him try to go to the bathroom. It's crazy.
Yeah, you can't punch or claw your way out of everything, unfortunately.
Eating soup with that claw on? Oh, impossible.
Heaven help you if you've, got a booger or something and go to pick your nose. Holy smokes.
What do you think Veronica's around for? Come on.
I think you got right to the heart of the matter there, Ray. I think you diagnosed it all, 100%. But yeah, the companions were difficult for sure. They didn't make it easy, with Dean there, and talking about God and dog, and that situation there. The memory thing. So, Rando mentioned merging the personalities, just like you did, Ray. And that is what happens, that if you merge them, they become a new personality that is amnesiac. So they don't actually remember you. They don't really know who you are, but you can get, the thing from them. So I think that's a neat resolution for Dog God. Did they give themselves a name when that happens? I don't remember.
I don't remember hearing anything like that.
Know if they name that third personality or not.
It's the OGD.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would say, Veronica is kind of, and I hate to say this to you, but the source of much misery here in a lot of ways for a lot of our players. So, because Christine Sweet, the bad ending, alive, tortured, killed by me, like he said. I mean, that's horrifying. But Veronica also, like John was traumatized by what happened with Veronica and the way that he feels like he betrayed her by taking out the Brotherhood as well. And I think a lot of people referenced that they feel like they either betrayed Veronica or things went bad, and now we have this with Christine. Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard life for some of the Wasteland. There is no happy ending for everybody.
For Veronica being our companion, we sure do hate her.
I mean, just say a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble happens.
Yeah.
Oh.
My last thought. He mentioned the kitchen I'd forgotten about. There was like this whole kitchen scene with the gas valves, and I died a couple times in there. I couldn't figure out where one of them was. It was really kind of one of those oops, I died here a few too many times for what it should have been for this puzzle. Well, there turned out to be lots of those around in this DLC. All right, we got, one more feedback here? Oh, right, of course. We saved the best for last, shall we say? The shovel butt, shall we say? For the last tier, we got our last feedback of the Roundtable for this season. Honors to John. Thanks for hopping on, sir. It was great to have you all season long. So let's take I lost the sound file. Here it is.
I could tell you were vamping. I'm like, are we going to get to the feedback? What's going on?
Here, your shovel butt. There we go.
Hello, everyone. This is John, aka the Shoveler, aka Shovelbutt.
Yes, sir.
Here with my feedback for Butch Caldwell in the Sierra Madre Casino. So, Butch drops off everyone at their positions so we can get the gala opening started. And everything goes well, so we get the fireworks and all that. And now it's time to run back and enter the gate to the casino. Yay! Except I get Butch so lost. I think we saw the same stairway 5 or 6 times. But Butch finally makes it to the town square with Vera and the fountain. And this is where the PS3 starts to get really slow. Just barely moving. But even though I'm thinking, crap, I'm going to have to run back again and start this run through. We finally make it to the gate. And once we get to the load screen and we make it out, we see the lobby for a few seconds before lights out. So this part takes so long, and there's so many times that I get to see poor Butch's neck without a head. This DLC is a pain. But I think Butch has died more than in this one DLC than it did in the whole entire game with the other DLCs. It was kind of a nightmare.
Brutal.
But Butch finds Dean It has to take him out. I guess there's some speech checks you can do, and we just didn't get them done right, so we had to take him out. I think we find a couple of holotapes with Vera and Dean, and then we go find God, and again after exploding a few times, Butch is able to get Dog and God to become one personality. We leave him behind. And then we head up to the suites, and again, after a lot of hide and run and sneak and run and hide, and we finally find Christine, and this time she's got Vera's voice. I think that had to do with Dean doing that. He was a piece of work. But we get to the elevators, and after Christine unlocks the elevators for us, we leave her there, and then we head down to some more beeping boom and gasp, can't breathe deaths. Butch finally makes it to the vault. Butch is able to pick up 4 gold bars. He has to drop a bunch of junk that he doesn't need really, but he does keep some weapons and some clothes. But after we access the terminal, we just read Vera's marked entries. It seems like somebody said that if you read Sinclair's entry, you get stuck in the vault till you die, and a hologram of you walks the halls forever. So we just went through Vera's entries. And then we get to talk to Elijah over the screen, and with a couple, I think it was 87 barter checks, we get to have Elijah come down. And then after he gets there, we turn the security system on, which activates the turrets. And I think Christine does something, and then it unlocks the turrets. Because we couldn't get them to change their programming until she says something, and I couldn't understand what she said. But anyway, so with the help of the turrets and the hollow rifle, Butch is able to take out Elijah. And this escape through the hallways and stuff, gantries and things, it took so long for me to figure out the path. I kept getting stuck and turning the wrong ways. And then finally, when I get to that room with the force fields, I turn right instead of left, and then I'm just hit a force field. I'm like, what the heck's going on? So after the third time of turning right, I turn left, and then I see the vault. I'm like, what the heck's that doing there? I'm like, oh crap, I'm on the other side of the force. Boom. My head explodes, or Butch's head explodes. So on the 4th try, Butch finally makes it to the elevator, and then he makes it outside. So again, this is where my PSC decides it's time to slow everything down. It's so slow. It's almost frozen. But I managed to get a save and close the game. And then after restart, we are back at the fountain, and we are able to move, and we head back to the gate to get to the bunker. Butch gets out of the bunker, and of course he's over encumbered. But luckily I got the long haul perk, and now Butch can fast travel to wherever, even though he's over encumbered. So the first thing I do after this is I put on my big boy pants, and we go see Veronica at the 188. And she doesn't even act like she knows that the bunker is destroyed. Her dialogue suggests that she has no idea. So I'm happy for that.
Leave it that way.
And
Yeah.
we take Veronica back to the 38 and drop her off with Vera's dress, and she's so excited. And now she can order room service and play dress up to her heart's content. And then Butch heads out to pick up Cass and Edie. Of course, they got left behind, and they got sent back to I think so. Cass got sent back to the Mojave Outpost, and Eddie got sent back to Prim. So we picked them up, and then we all head back to the 38. So this is the end of my first feedback season, and I had a lot of fun. Again, I appreciate the fact that you guys have this available for us, even though you say you guys appreciate us even submitting entries. So, but again, really appreciate it. So I may keep the last save I made before shutting down the game. I would probably go back and kill House because I just can't stand them. And then I'd see about finishing up Boone's quest as well as Rex's, Raoul's, and picking up a Lily. But that may be a while though if I do, because it's been a rough time. And if I ever do play again, I'll probably just try to play it off the Steam, because the PS3 just can't handle it, I don't think. So anyway, Butch made it to level 47. If I finished the game from here, then he would top out soon. And all of his skills are 100 except for 5. And again, thanks, and I will see you all in the wasteland. Goodbye.
All right. He mentioned the vault computer death. I went that route my first time, and I thought about just leaving it at that.
It is. Wow. That could have been the end. That could have been your end.
I mean, that could have been fun.
Yeah.
I mean, because we're literally at the end of the season. What are we going to do after we progressed from this?
If you want to play
DLC,
it that way, you absolutely could. I mean, you wanted to see the slides where you got to the end, you lived, but you didn't need to. You're right. You could have gone for the harsher ending like poor Rando dealt with. Although, again, Rando's tucking some of that away, with Myra. But I do love a happy ending, and I'm glad John managed to get a happier one for himself there and actually put on his big boy shovel butt pants, as they said, and talk to Veronica. Turned out, she was fine with it. And she doesn't know. I mean, so.
Do you guys have a shutting down this character save ritual usually you just sort of lose interest and sort of stop playing after you lose steam and, get interested in something else. And you don't realize that it's the last time you're going to play this character. I think I was realizing, this is probably the last time I'm going to play that. Ray, I know, went on to the long 15, so he's got, more saves to save there. But, I actually thought this is the last time I'm probably playing this character. So
it happens. Yeah.
I went back to the home and cashed in all the gear and got all the inventory down to nothing and took off all just naked, just get into bed and take a nap and shut the game off.
Well-deserved rest. Honestly, that sounds a bit like a couple of our characters' endings where they wrap stuff up, they tuck stuff in, and they get a well-deserved nap.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I don't do that with a lot of games have fixed endings, and then you just kind of imagine where your character went after that because you got the end credits, you got the scroll, you got the title screens. Ones where they don't, though, you really have to log them off in a good place, like your 76 characters. They all log them off someplace nice. Don't just log out in the middle of nowhere. Poor guys.
Log them off, preferably on a Mr. Fuzzy ride, so they can have fun in perpetuity.
At their camp, that final log off in the sky.
Yeah.
But, don't leave them in the middle of like the ash heap in the middle of like Welch being shot at. No, just wouldn't be right. Or like
Earl's
if
Cave.
your last login on 76 ends in a crash. How sad.
Oh, bad juju.
Don't do that to them.
No good vibes. All right.
So looking at
yes,
at the
sir.
wiki, so the inspiration for the Sierra Madre Casino was the 1948 film The Treasure of Sierra Madre.
Oh, beautiful.
Which was a Humphrey Bogart movie.
So that should be required watching maybe afterwards. See if we got some of the vibes from that.
Yeah, but I think that it seems to me that was about the Sierra Madre Mountains in Mexico.
Oh, so it's not a casino movie?
No, it's prospectors trying to strike it rich.
So some of the themes are similar about trying to get the gold and maybe even the letting go concept, but not a casino. Okay, that makes sense. Talking about Vera's dress too, like John did. I wanted to mention that you put it on your character, and it turns out Vera's dress is a really dapper looking suit on a guy character.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that I had seen that somewhere. And I don't think it's the only one.
No, a couple of things convert, like Naughty Nightwear and a lot of those outfits where it's one thing on, a girl and another thing on a guy.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a sharp nice charcoal and crimson suit.
Looks good. Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I love the shoes.
I didn't get it. Are they all like shiny floor shine style shoes? What are we talking about?
Wingtips.
Wingtips. There you go. Nice and black. Oh yeah, those are nice. Yeah, those are good shoes. Look at that. He looks good.
Let me drop a picture in there.
Yeah, it's in the Fallout channel on Discord. You can see it after the show. Anyways, fantastic feedback, John. Thank you so much.
Later.
And I think that wraps everybody's feedback.
Feedback? Yes, that is the feedback. That means it is time for some bits, I believe.
Jessica, to the office, please. Jessica, to the office. Your iguana bits are ready. Please come pick them up. Why, thank you, Jess. So we've gone a little long tonight, so I'm not going to subject you guys to too many bits. I got a lot of bits stacked up, but they're quick. They're morsel-sized. It's kind of like, when you get like a handful of nerds. Yeah, there's a lot of nerds there, but you can just pop them all in your mouth at once. You might regret it, but you can do that.
Could go for a handful of nerds right now. That sounds good.
I know, right? Yum, or Sour Patch Kids, our favorite.
Bully.
Yeah. Andrew and I both like the gummy sour stuff, I think. Right, Andrew? You like gummy
sours?
Sours?
My favorite, yeah.
Yeah, me
all
too.
That gummy sour stuff.
So, speaking of gummy sours, it's double score weekend in Fallout 76 right now. So you can have a grand old time if you hop in there.
You can have a sour old gummy time.
Great time to build and take photos. Double score weekend. But no, depending on where you're at on the scoreboard, take advantage of it, earn that. I think actually get the scorecation ready because we already have Rando finishing in 2 weeks. I think Rando's done. It's a big old scorecation.
Scorecation!
It's a big old scorecation.
And a lot of other people are over halfway. It's season's going pretty quick. People have been grinding. Going pretty quick, especially today. Today was one of the easiest, quickest dailies I've ever seen. Got to log in. You got to get yourself a Nuka-Cola. You got to drink a couple of Nuka-Colas, and that's pretty much it. You got to take a picture at Nuka World, where you're probably already at because you were getting some Nuka-Colas. Like, could not be easier.
Yeah, I always love it when they put it in as a grouping. They're obviously you have a theme.
Speaking of people on the chore board too, so John's at like 48 or 49 and 76. So Lior's already up to 70. He did a couple of raids today. Yeah, I am not a raider. Well, y'all know that. But people out there doing raids, you definitely get enough XP from that. It's a great way to do the XP trick to move on the scoreboard. So double score weekend, hit it up. And it's double score weekend before meat week because Graham is coming back. He's hungry. He knows you're hungry, so he's going to be coming back on Tuesday. And we've got a double helping of meat week again. Coming right up.
Well, it is about summertime. I think, I don't know, the 21st is official beginning of summer, right?
Yeah, midsummer should be a Sunday, I think, is going to be the solstice.
Right.
Yep.
So Graham,
Perfect.
of course, got to come around for a meat week, right?
Meat week. Bring all that meat.
No, I thought it
But
was
he's
usually
also going to have...
August. Isn't it usually August? I thought it was a
Originally,
little
meat week
early.
was August. Yeah, until they did the thing where they started switching so that most events were 2 or 3 times a year. But they started shortly before the show came out, so the last 2-3 years. Before that, meat week was traditionally August. Just like Voshnak was traditionally February, March, meat week was traditionally August or September. And that's actually why they started doing the double helping and meat week thing, because we'd get early August and we get like a little, in September again, get a little flashback to it.
A little surprise.
Yeah, but now we get most events 2-3 times a year at least.
Yep.
So, meat week coming up. That's going to be fun. But we're going to get fish this meat week, maybe. There may be some new recipes. So I don't have info on any new recipes, but the seasonal fish run I was talking about starts on, I think, Thursday or Friday. So that's going to be the special seasonal fish we get, where they're going to be special fish to catch, special recipes to use them, and it's during meat week. So maybe they'll integrate them somehow. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Can't wait to eat that smoked axolotl.
No. Hashtag Carolotl.
Axolotl on a stick.
The dark side is so seductive, y'all. The dark side, y'all are, blah, 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 Carolotl, and then suddenly it's like one day you're hungry, next thing you know, it's all Snaxolotl.
Snaxolotl.
Even Bill Lacoste from Fallout 76, the guy who was, I'm like, he's my team. He's, one of the directors of 76. He's hashtag Carolotl. No, he was actually talking about Snaxolotls in interviews at the Summer Game Fest. I just threw my pen. That's why you heard a bump on the microphone. I'm sorry.
You ever had axolotl tacos? Oh, so good.
But speaking of hitting things, we hit the infestation goal by triple. Yeah, so remember we were talking about how we've got the community event coming up. You got to get 500,000 infestations. No, we did 1.5 million infestations. We tripled the goal. Yeah.
Good job, team. Good work.
I mean, they turned it up. Like I said, they turned up the spigot. So we're getting tons of infestations. But yeah, people were really grinding them hard. They were getting them done and over 1 million. That's just awesome. So we unlocked the free item, which was a T51, a Braxo paint. And on top of that, we haven't had a show. So everybody in Discord knows, and of course a lot of Fallout community knows because we are posting everywhere. But the Clean Mr. Fuzzy head came back at the beginning of the week. And then we got the Clean Mr. Fuzzy suit, like I was talking about during my gameplay earlier. We got that, so now we have both. But they were only 24 hours each. Well, they are back from today, Friday, through Monday. So we have 3 days. Log in, go to the free section of Atomic Shop, claim your Mr. Fuzzy head, your Mr. Fuzzy suit, and your T51 Abraxo armor while you can. Because once they're gone, they're gone.
Can't live without my T51 Abraxo armor.
I mean, best thing to wear when you're cleaning the kitchen, using that high power cleaner.
Oh, man. Bowl in a china shop. Can you imagine me trying to do the dishes in power armor?
You'd be breaking everything. That'd be hilarious.
Try to put the teacups away? Oh.
So that's it for the 76 bits for now. There are some fun interviews out there floating around because 76 was at Summer Game Fest and the Play Days and the Xbox Showcase with new stuff around infestations. So you'll see some info, some, teaser tips on what's coming down the road. Like we already discussed, the whole pets traveling with you. They're trying on the PTS, which they're actually calling they wrote it out as the TS, like calling a cat.
A cat. That's hilarious.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. So that was really funny. So that was good. And also on Line 76, they're still doing community spotlights occasionally. And they spotlighted our friend Fargassier, who's just a cool content creator, streamer on 76. I thought that was nice to see. Okay. So I'm not going to go in because I don't want to go too long on big SGF news and Xbox news and all that. We've got enough. But now, I don't know if this is a Hoosier thing or an Andrew thing, Andrew. But Hoosiers like Garfield, right?
Oh, I think it's widely believed that Garfield is lame but I take a specific pride in it, yeah, because I'm Hoosier. But I think I might generally just like it also because of the era, I was raised and that sort of thing. But,
okay, that makes sense. But
yeah,
he was from your area, right?
Yeah, my dad had run into him, like had sort of loosely knew him a little bit too.
Well, I mentioned because there's a new Garfield game coming out.
Jim
Garfield,
Davis.
I Hate Mondays.
What? No way. What is
A little Hoosier Fried. John
What is
forces
this gonna be
Garfield to
like?
eat spinach lasagna. Yes, Garfield ate veggie lasagna. Spinach lasagna. He is not happy. He falls into a fitful sleep with a fever dream where he has to fight vegetables and all this healthy stuff through various platforming levels. It looks really bad. It's gonna, but
Oh, come
Hoosier Fried.
on. That's gonna be great.
So I just thought that was cool. I wanted to mention that. Games that you might want to actually play, unless you're really into Garfield.
I could write a better game than that with my Garfield knowledge. Come on, we just like have this challenge where you have to box up Nermal so you can mail him to Abu Dhabi, right? Come on.
Yeah, there you go. No, there's so many options. And Random mentions Garfield Caught in the Act was a great Sega game. That's true. Still like Garfield growing up. I loved Garfield growing up. We all did. If you grew up in the 80s and 90s, you generally really like Garfield. I mean, I think that's normal.
Yeah, my
but not normal.
Wife and I, that's totally normal. My wife and I earlier today were just singing the "Friends are there to help you get started, to give you a push in your way." If you remember the Jim Davis not only had Garfield, but he had spin-off characters. Orson the Pig and Wade the Duck and Roy the Rooster on U.S. Acres, if you remember that.
Yeah, U.S. Acres.
So Garfield and Friends, was sort of like a half and half show. They would do a Garfield and then a U.S.
Garfield
Acres.
had the best specials, and his first 16
Oh
books
my
were pretty
God,
good.
those were amazing. First 16 were good? Shoot. I like the first 45.
See, there you go. I think I stopped reading around 16, so I don't really know after that.
Yeah, that was just a thing. We would go. My dad would take us to the bookstore, and I'd look through, get whatever books, and I'd always grab the most recent Garfield that I didn't have. Also, Calvin and Hobbes the same way. I have so many of those Calvin and Hobbes bound.
People love Calvin's. People, like the Doonesbury. I mean, yeah, there are definitely comics that we all collect.
Far Side, tons of Far Side books too. Yeah,
good stuff.
Yep.
You know what else people collect, Andrew?
Scorcations? What?
Mods. No, they collect mods, y'all. King Gas just released a surprise mod we didn't know about. And Ray, I don't know if you heard about this one ahead, because I certainly didn't.
Yeah.
But it's called Sigil of the Fallen, and it's a new Skyrim mod. And I've been waiting for Fever Dreams for Fallout 4 like I was talking about. Didn't know about this. Looks great. Available now if you're a Skyrim player. So I thought that was cool. We also have new actors announced for the TV show. So we don't know all the roles they're playing yet, but the season 3 has started filming. Originally marked as starting filming in May, starting production in May. However, I didn't see anything saying it was officially started filming until last week. So it is now definitely officially filming if they did not start earlier. And on top of the cast we know from the Fall TV show, we have new actors announced. Manny Jacinto, Emily Mortimer, and Thomasin McKenzie. So if y'all are fans of them, you know them, awesome. I'm not super familiar with them, but they've all been in various things. Manny Jacinto was in The Good Place, which was a fun comedy if you watched that in the mid-2010s. Was good. Emily Mortimer has done a lot over the years. So because they're also a variety of nationalities and ages. She's a British actress. Thomasin McKenzie is a New Zealand actress, so she'll be all Kia ora. And we've got Manny is, I think he's just from LA. Don't know.
So Emily McKenzie, is that right? She's the one I'm familiar with out of that list.
Cool.
She had a brief 3-episode arc in 30 Rock as
Oh,
Jack
she did. Yes.
Donaghy's girlfriend who had avian bone syndrome, where she had hollow bones, careful my bones. Yeah,
That's
don't touch
Emily
me, my
Mortimer. And
bones.
yeah, she wasn't
Emily
there throughout.
Mortimer. Yeah, sorry.
I have hollow bones, like a bird.
That's awesome. But so new actors announced. I think that's cool. I just think it's neat that they're going to be a variety of locations too. Continuing the proud Wasteland tradition of having people with accents from far away. With how the hell did they get there in the world of Fallout? We don't know. They walked from New Zealand. They swam.
Fucking got a boat and come on over, man.
Or perhaps, they come from a long line of Kiwis. We don't know, and actually we don't know the accent they'll actually act with. They may not act with their accent, but I just thought that was neat if they did. Beyond that, a few things that were announced over the weekend. ESO has new content with the Thieves Guild. They already had a Thieves Guild, but now there's a big story expansion, new stuff for ESO coming up. Fallout 76 obviously has the infestations, and another thing that was mentioned at SGF was that you will not believe, or everyone will be shocked with what's going to come to Fallout 76 with this update 76. Considering we're on update 68 right now, I think it's 67 or 68. I think infestation is 68.
So
that should be
a
probably
few
next
years
summer.
off, right? Come on.
Yeah, next summer to the winter after that. In the next year and a half or so, we'll get to update 76. So curious speculation.
So what's going to happen?
Oh, geez. That's too many things possible. I still love the idea of the big enclave ending for when they decide to wrap up. But
I think our Xboxes are literally going to stand up and turn into Liberty Prime and march along, just like throwing bombs and stuff.
Liberty Prime. What if that happened?
I would. Yep, that's it. I've seen everything now.
We discover how Liberty Prime ended up. I mean, Liberty Prime wasn't even finished as a project in DC, so that would not sit well with.
Oh no, the lore people would lose their minds.
Yeah, but who knows? There could be something else. Finally, again, don't want to get into all the Xbox stuff. Best of times, worst of times. They had a great showcase, and then they started talking again about.
No, stop
issues.
Talking. Just have the good stuff.
Nothing official yet. So nothing official. We'll see what happens. However, one thing that did come out in that is a talk about focusing on some of their bigger franchises like Fallout, Elder Scrolls, and Halo. So, expect the focus on Fallout and Elder Scrolls to continue, which
we would
that always
love
makes
that.
me happy. And maybe we finally get beyond the remakester and what eventually happens with, other games. We get that spin-off I've wanted. The remake of 1 and 2, or another Obsidian spin-off, or just a fun. There are so many things they could go. So many places they could go. Another tactics game. Let's do it.
Another tactics game.
It could happen. A tactical Fallout would be fun.
Shelter Online. It already exists. It's really easy. Just give it to us.
Yeah. Yeah. And finally, in the midst of all that stuff too, Matt Booty. Okay, I won't say it, but no, I have to. So they hired a guy, their new strategic, I don't know his official title, but he's essentially director of strategy, Matthew Ball. So now we've got Matt Booty and Matt Ball as two of the heads of Xbox. I'm sorry, I'm 12. They's in charge. But Matt Booty mentioned that he had, been by Bethesda recently and seen Elder Scrolls 6 running, and it was looking beautiful, which, of course, he's going to say that. But we do know it's running. We do know people are playing it, and it's looking good. So I do love to hear that.
150 frames per second?
Messy.
I don't think so. Minute. Can't be a second. Good Lord.
Not unless Ray was playing it. Yeah. But that wraps it for the bits, y'all. That's all I got.
Dims to bits. All right. Thank you, Jess. Let's take a peek at the notes, but I think that's probably all that we have for the yeah. Hey, special shouts to everyone who submitted feedback all season long. it was a long, dedicated venture here, and you guys performed admirably. And I just can't believe the amount of dedication and also like the friendships blossoming that we see over there in the Discord and such, and you guys getting along. And it feels like you've especially bonded as a group of feedbackers, and it's just really, really, really nice to see. Friendships being made in the wake of the podcast. You know what I mean? So thanks everyone for submitting all season long. It's always so appreciated, and it's a good. And so this is a very, very heartfelt thank you.
Scorecation.
So keep them coming when we get back around to some more feedback, guys. All right. Do you guys have any other topics you'd like to bring up on the show this evening?
Said everything I have to say.
Oh, she's mad now, guys. She's stomping off. She left. All right. And in that case, I will let you know that you can find Ray at RayLB and at BBCISSS for the Butcher Baker Candle Maker in Space. So, Ray, thanks so much for hopping on.
Good times.
Jess can be found at SleepIs4T, and make sure you check out the Starfield Lorecast, and dare I ask about the posting of the play?
Check out all
YouTube?
of the things.
Is the play posted to YouTube yet?
There's nothing new on YouTube now.
YouTube, no.
Girl's been working ridiculous hours.
She works 112 hours a week, Andrew. All right, Jess, thank you so much for hopping on tonight.
Have a great week, y'all.
And organizing the season and putting all that shit together. It's such hard work. So thanks for, organization and running up and down stairs when we need to stream from your house and leaving yourself online too long and all sorts of good stuff. So the show can be found at the Fallout feed. I tend to hang out over there in the Discord. So come over and hang out with us as well. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout feed, and we will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the Wasteland.
Dirty ass, Mr. Fuzzy, and you liked it?
There's no way to convince God to not try to kill you.
Sausages from a robot.
Stick to the flesh.
Grinding them hard.
I suppose I should just be mad at God